You there?
Yep.
All right. I guess we're live.
Cool, Daddy-O.
All right, Daddy-O. So can you see, since we're warming up into things, get things started here, you were talking about being able to read the chat. Can you read the chat now?
No, don't see anything on it yet.
Now, what is there a chat window?
I don't see one.
Okay. Try tilting your phone the other way just temporarily and see how that works. And it might give you an option on the top.
Oh yeah, then it'll show it now on the bottom.
Okay, so yeah, if you want to read the chats, you just tilt it the other way. But let's try and keep it the other way. That way you can see the best of your.
Well, there you go. That's not too bad.
But on the viewer end, you're like this. So if you put the phone in portrait, yep. All right, let's get things started here. So we got one person or two people in the chat right now. Scott Expat in the Philippines, as expected. Hello, Scott Expat in the Philippines.
Hey, Scotto.
Yeah, so you guys were connected prior to you and I being connected.
Oh yeah, a long time. He's been watching a long time.
Oh yeah, Scott's a cool dude, man. He's got his dog. He's got his dog Snowy and the wife and his boy, and they do all sorts of stuff there in Australia. We got two people here. Let's kind of warm it up into here and kind of see what's happening. Oh, I'm glad the audio worked. I was really tripping, Rick, whether or not, because that last one.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was kind of, and there was nothing I could do about it. It was kind of like, I don't know what happened. All my settings were just like they are now. And it's really not that complicated, but for some reason, maybe, hate to say it, but maybe it was somebody on the other end that maybe did it on purpose. I don't know. I'm not gonna put too much thought and effort into it. So we got two people here. There's no intro. I don't know if they're not. I don't know.
If they don't comment, yeah, you can't.
Yeah,
say.
we don't know who they are. So that's good and fine. So let me ask you this, brother. Since we're live, there's no telling how many people watch right now. How long have you been on the YouTube as far as like being a content creator and stuff like that?
It's 2 years now.
Oh, 2 years. Okay.
And I looked here a while back and I think I had like 700 vlogs already.
700. That's a lot, man.
Yeah, well, pretty much I put one out every day. It's the only time I didn't put them out was before I had the Al Gore Beaks channel. Every day.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna have the live stream on here.
Yeah, you got to turn the volume down.
Yeah. I got the.
Mute your mic so you don't get the echo.
Yeah, I turned the volume down on the phone because that way I can follow the chat on the phone.
There you go.
Because I'm half blind, So meaning my eyes are shit, man, for real. So you've been out for how many years now?
It's 2 years already, more than 2 years.
Wow. Now how did you get? Well, of course it's time. 3,000 plus subscribers, brother. Wow.
Well, I think they're actually chewing those numbers because we did a thing here with my buddy. He was at work, and I was going back and forth with him on the messenger, and I was telling him about how they're fudging my numbers, and they're all taking their lunch break, and there was like 25 guys in there, and I said, hey, ask them if they'll all join the channel right now, because none of them were watching, just him. So everybody joined, everybody right then, and they were even showing me on the messenger because we were doing a video chat that they had just joined the Rickshaw channel, and I went down by 10. I didn't go up any. I went down 10 viewers.
Wow.
During that time. And most of them stayed. Most of them stayed there. They liked the content, because it was after this convid stuff started, so people were getting interested in that. And I try to get as much information on that as I can get.
Mm-hmm.
And I get trolls that tell me I'm a nut bag and all this kind of stuff. And anymore, I used to go back and forth with them. But when you get people say, "Oh, you're crazy," and but I just, you know what I do? I don't even talk to them. There's no helping them anymore. So what I do is I just delete them, get rid of them.
Yeah,
I get,
you
I
got to
get
learn.
tired of it.
You got to learn how to, not take things too personally, because
Yeah,
go ahead.
it's the big boys' room here. If you want to talk and if you don't agree with me, that's fine. I'll still go back and forth with you. But when you start saying you're a nut and start throwing ad hominems and all that kind of stuff, I don't even deal with it anymore. There's no moving on from that for them, because they've been properly programmed.
They've been conditioned. Conditioned.
Yeah. And that's it. There's no helping them. So I don't bother with it anymore. I used to, and I never got that many in the first place. And one of them that I had was a guy that I had started talking to, like you and I did.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched some of I started looking through his videos, and the guy was doing really inappropriate things with a young Filipino boy. I mean, extremely inappropriate. So I just sort of stopped talking to him, and then he went on the attack. And then he finally he had to flee the Philippines.
Good.
They were after him for, because he was sick. He was a sicko. I mean, what are you messing with a little 7-year-old boy for?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I mean, I've been with Karina for 13 years now, and I've done extensive study on, international travel and whatnot. And a lot of people go to, like Thailand or Philippines and stuff like that, and they have an agenda, and it's not a good agenda. These people are going to hell.
No, they call them here. A lot of them, they call it sex pets.
Oh, sex pets. Yeah. Yep. Sex pets.
And it's a shame. I mean, I was never one that partook in that. Even when I came here years ago, looking for a wife, I didn't jump in the sack with any of them. I just didn't do it.
Right. Well, it's like, similar story. Like, I've only been to the Philippines one time. But when I was there, we spent our first 2 days in Manila because Karina had to take care of, some stuff at the embassy. Right. So we stayed at a Go Hotel in, Metro Manila. And it was weird. It was like, okay, one night I was outside, smoking a cigarette, and it was like, I'd say it was like 2:30 in the morning or something like that. And some older lady, like an elder Filipino lady, she kind of walked up to me and she's like, "You want young girl?" And I wasn't culture shocked by it, because I kind of had expected something like that to happen. I was like, no, I'm good. But
they're really it's funny when I was here. It's after I was married, and one woman that we had met, when my wife knew her, she had a 14-year-old daughter and was looking to marry her off and didn't care how old how old the guy was. And it was like, that's just a baby. When I was looking for a woman, I set the I was in my late 40s, and I set it at 30. That was my minimum age. I went on Philippine. I think it's called Filipina Heart now.
Okay.
That's how I went about it. And I didn't. You can get a 25-year-old, but what do you got in common? There's nothing that you're going to be able to talk about. So I said it, and then after I got a little older, couldn't find anybody. Even though I came here on visits, I knew right away, nope, this isn't going to work. And I was real picky. I was incredibly picky. One girl that I was going until as soon as I heard her voice, she wouldn't put anything on the messaging.
Right.
And then I came here, and it was she had this horrible voice. And I was like, oh, I couldn't live with that for the rest of my life. Bye. And it was like immediate. Took her to dinner, and then I boogied.
What a trip, man. Now the way I met Karina was complete opposite. Okay. I was living in Huntington Beach, California. You know where that's at.
Yep.
And Karina was living in Long Beach.
You know where that's at too.
Yep. And we met on a website called plentyoffish.com. Right. And my buddy Phil, he might be chiming in here later. We got 4 people in the chat now. Oh, my Ubu just said hi right there. She's shot my Karina. Ubu is Bubu means baby in Tagalog. And Ubu, we migrated it. That's kind of like what we call each other. We don't call each other by our first names unless we're arguing. But yeah, we met on plentyoffish.com. My friend Phil is like, oh, and it just kind of happened. And we talked for a couple weeks, and I knew where she was at. She knew where I was at. And one day we're like, hey, check it out, and Karina took a taxi cab out to HB, and we hit it off, and that was 13 years ago. So it's like complete opposites, because I'm 47 and Karina's 55, right? Now, opposite polar patterns, a lot of foreigners, like American people or, whoever, they want to, find a younger woman, Asian woman in a different country. And that's good and fine and all, but I've seen, without saying any names and stuff like that, it's like, on the YouTube, it's like one person in particular. Okay. I started following this person, and what's up, buddy? I started following this person, on the YouTube, and, and next thing you know, this person's moving to the United States, and then come to find out, her other half is like double her age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, it works both ways. It's like, okay, yes, the older man wants the younger person, but then again, the younger person has an agenda to maybe, get themselves on that person's paperwork if they pass away with their pension.
Well, I know two different guys that are married to women that are more than 20 years older than them. One here and one in the States. And you know something? They get along great. My one buddy, his wife now, he's in the States. His wife, I believe, is 79, and he's in his early 50s now. And he's been married for, oh my goodness, 28 or 29 years now.
Wow, that's awesome.
No kids or anything like that, and she didn't have any previous to that. That's one thing too. When I was dating that I didn't go for was a woman that had a kid already. Because I always thought, how is her and that man going to reconcile if you marry him? And they say it doesn't happen, but it can, and I'm not going to be one to get in the way. Plus, I don't believe that if a woman has a kid, they're ever going to put you in front of that kid. They're always going to put that kid first.
Sure.
So that was one of the things that I had. I actually came here and met a Filipina. She was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, a 10 out of 10. And spent a couple days, and then went to meet her family. And there was one little girl hanging around, and then the sister told me that's hers. And I tell you what, I was not happy. I mean, I caught the next jeepney. We were way down out in the province, and I just grabbed my stuff, and while everybody was busy swimming in the ocean, and jumped on the jeepney and split. Yeah, because I wasn't going for that at all. That really ticked me off, because I made it clear in my site that no girls with kids, period. Wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah, Karina came with a child, but her child is in his mid-30s now.
Yeah, I assume an adult. Yeah.
So on our end, it worked out good like that. But it's like it's weird, because I had no idea about Philippine culture, or I had no idea what an expat was or anything like that, until I started studying, traveling to the Philippines, when prior to us going to the Philippines, we went on our little vacation there, and I learned a lot, dude. I learned a lot. And it's it's weird, you know. There's different wherever you go in the world. I mean, I haven't traveled worldwide. I mean, I've never even been to Mexico. You know, I've been to Japan on a layover and to the Philippines. Aside from that, I've traveled the United States, but there's different cultures everywhere, and some stuff you can approve. You know, I approve of some stuff I don't. Yeah, but it's kind of weird, man. It really is. Let's check up on here. We got to follow up on this here. Let's see. We got Karina. She was there. Stay Frosty.
Hey, all right. There's a good guy.
Yep. Stay Frosty. Should we? Let's give him a. These little. Okay, there we go.
Hey, mate.
Is that Stay Frosty's name? Is Nate? Right on. Hello, Nate. So now we got 5 people in here, and only 2 are engaging. Karina's not really engaging because she's out on a shopping spree with Abby, you know, hanging out. They're getting their hair done, you know. They work hard all week. You know, they're taking care of the elderly and special needs people, you know, having a day off like that in expensive San Francisco, you know.
Yeah, I've been there. Pretty expensive. I was in San Jose visiting a friend, and then we went into San Francisco. Nice. It was a nice looking town then. You know, you see stuff now where there's needles and homeless people all over, but when I was there, it wasn't that bad.
It all depends on where you're at. I mean, I grew up in San Jose, California, until 1997, and then I went. You know, I migrated down south. You know, in '97 when I was 22 years old, and did the Hollywood thing for quite a few years. But yeah, I mean, San Jose, California does not look anything like it did 20 years ago.
I want to tell you something about, I get people all the time asking me, was it a big culture shock moving to the Philippines? And I tell them, no, they're just like folks in the Midwest, you know, just good people. Right. My biggest culture shock I ever had in my life was moving to California.
Where'd you move to California from?
I was in Missouri for a while. I moved around a lot because I was doing construction.
Okay.
And I actually lived out of a trailer.
Wow.
And I had a truck camper at first and then a travel trailer. I used to bring it right to the work site because a lot of jobs I had were sometimes a year and a half long project. Right.
Wow. Yeah. So culture shock, man. Like a big culture shock I had in the United States. Hold on, before we go there. So we have Canada in the house right now. We have Chappie's Tiki Bar.
Oh yeah,
You know about Chappie?
Yeah, I watched a couple of the vlogs there.
Yeah, he's got his dog Mookie.
Yep,
right on. So welcome, Chappie. Hey guys, just got here. Stay frosty.
I don't always comment, but I watch.
Oh yeah. Same here. It's like even with your videos, like you can't watch everything of everybody's content, you know. But brother, I dig on your stuff because you say it like it is. You're not like, oh, I'm so concerned about my edits and da-da-da. It's a straightforward video, right up to the end.
You know something? There's no script, and it's usually one shot.
Exactly.
I'll go back and watch it. If I forgot to put something in there, I'll just redo the whole thing again. I don't really edit. I do take some words out. One thing here that's a big no-no is saying anything detrimental to the government or people in it. You know.
Yeah,
I did say something about that. Yeah, the one doctor that was on there, and I do mention about that. You know, It's hard to take healthcare advice from somebody who's not healthy. To me, you know.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. You know, but wow, what a trip, man. Yeah, now back to culture shock in the United States. Okay, so I went from San Jose to Hollywood, right? And I did Hollywood from 1997 until my first time going to the East Coast was in the year 2000, and I moved from Hollywood, California to Sanford, Maine. Okay. Now I was a 23-year-old guy at the time, long hair, rock and roll, this and that. To go out there to a town that has like 15,000 people, talk about culture shock. Yeah, that was a trip. So, what was your culture shock when you moved to California? Was it just like the big hustle bustle, or?
No, it was just the thoughts of a lot of the people I met. Now the construction guys thought like I did, but the thing that really got me was everybody would get the day off for voting. They give you the whole day off with pay if you go to vote.
Right.
Well, I was usually foreman or superintendent, so I would ask them for any proof that they went. They would complain about the government, but they wouldn't vote. They just took the day off and partied. And
Oh,
that I was like, I never missed a vote, never.
I
Even when
don't.
I was very very young.
It's just like, what year was this around?
When I was in California, I
Yeah, yeah.
moved there in 2004. I actually went out there uh, for a job, and then
Mhm.
because of my back, uh, just hurt all the time. I mean, I could physically work, but it just nagged me, and it was the cold weather. So that's why
Okay.
I said I'm going to stay. And there was tons of work. I mean, I did all kinds of stuff. I did my first job I ever did out there was a parts department of a Raceway Ford, it was called.
Right.
And I remember the owner of the company said he scheduled it for 2.5 months with 20 guys for the first week, and then 10 guys for the rest of the time. And I looked at him, and I'm looking at the print, and I said, I don't need any guys except maybe on the last few days to pull the wire.
Right.
Uh,
Right. Right.
just me. I have all the tools. I'll go do it. He said it's impossible. And I said, yeah, for here, I said, just let me go for a day or two, and then you come visit me. And if you think I'm behind, and I had all the backbone up in 2 days. They had guys bringing me all the stuff and right into the place, and he couldn't believe it. He could not believe it. And I had the entire job done in a week, in 1 week.
Wow. Wow.
And he
Wow.
made a fortune. I got a nice bonus for that, and then he put me on as his superintendent. I worked for him for about a year and a half until then he went through a divorce and his wife cleaned his clock. California, you get your clock cleaned in divorce.
Oh yeah, yeah. I won't have Eddie.
Yeah, yeah. I
Holy.
think when I was there for a great while, the governor was in.
Oh yeah, the governor. Yep. 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 So let me ask you this. Okay. So about voting. Okay. So I'm not sure if that works nowadays. You could take a whole day off to vote.
Well, in the construction field, that's normal.
Like union or
Yeah, yeah. It was
okay,
union.
union. Oh, okay, okay.
You
Yeah,
don't have to take it. You can get double pay. Some guys just work it, but nobody wants to be known as a non-voter. But so many of the guys didn't bring back anything at all from the voting place, and I got to the point where you brought something back or you didn't get paid. I would
yeah.
withhold their pay
It's
for it.
like a doctor's note.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
something because But anymore, I'm starting to think like with our big last election that they had in the States, that to me it was taken. Here, end of story.
Yeah, and they also said the last one was taken too.
Yeah,
It's like
with Biden, it was taken. There, that was clear as a bell. All you had to do was look at the rallies.
exactly. And here we go. We were gonna step into the water softly. Now we're gonna start. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe things can get a little as you say, dicey here. Okay, you got this guy, the former vice president of the United States, Bo Biden. You know who I'm talking about. I don't
Yep.
refer to him. Yeah, the former vice president of the United States. The most votes out of any president in any election history. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
That dude
Yeah.
right now, 38%. And last time I checked last week, 38%.
And I bet those numbers are inflated.
Now he did this thing, after he signed this, or his handlers had him sign it. Excuse me, we have to speak properly here. His handlers had him sign this infrastructure deal, right? Now, the very next day, of all places, he goes to New Hampshire, okay, where I used to live, up at some BFE, if you know what I mean, bumfuck Egypt. We can say whatever we want here today. Oh, hold on. We'll get to the chat later. Philip's here. We got a couple other people here. We have a total of 8 people watching right now. 8,000 people watching. 8,000. So he goes to New Hampshire, right? And I did a vlog on that. Not a vlog. I did a short or whatever. Just saying it like it is when it came out. He went out there, with the Secret Service and all this stuff. There were literally the clapping was like this. And it's like less than 20. There were more Secret Service people there than the audience to come and meet him while they're prancing across this bridge. And it was just so, excuse my language, so fucking stupid, and it was like, really, okay, this guy that has the most votes ever in presidential election history, and you got a little tiny crowd like that, but yet Donald Trump can just hold some whatever rally wherever the hell he wants, and you're going to have a freaking almost an arena full of people. That speaks numbers to me.
Yeah, of course it does.
So
anybody who doesn't believe that is, they're just denying it, and
there's something wrong with them.
Yeah,
something wrong with them.
It's not real. And then look at the hyena he's got as VP. My goodness, she's nothing but a party girl. And if you look at Nostradamus,
you're talking about camel. You're talking about camel toe.
Yeah, but the hyena, I call her.
Oh yeah.
If you look at Nostradamus's quatrains, he said, it was one of the things he said. I never was really a firm believer in that guy, but when I read that one here, I just shook my head and went, yeah, we're being run,
Absolutely. All right, hold on. Let's pause here for a minute. We got 7 people in here. Scott Expat here. Scott Expat in the Philippines. Stay Frosty still here. Philip Collet. Now, I've known Philip. Actually, here we go, Rickshaw. Philip actually introduced me to Karina via Plenty of Fish. So he's like, hey, man, check out this website. I've known Phil for a little over 20 years now. Yeah, he introduced me to Karina. Phil's a long-haul truck driver. So Phil's saying, he's in here. Stay Frosty says, yep, definitely set up in front of the world's eyes. Get away with it. It is. Yeah. The world is a stage. Philip says, Trump rallies always overflow with people outside watching on big screens. Absolutely. The people are, there's like in church, you got the overflow room, that's not necessarily happening with this current administration. And the sad thing about it, hate to say it, but I don't think anything's going to change for the next 4 years.
Well, you know something funny here. When I came to the Philippines, one thing that it wasn't really a shock, but it was just a real awakening. When you go to the churches here, it's overflow crowd. I mean, it's big time overflow crowd.
Catholicism, yeah.
One thing this COVID did was it knocked those numbers right down the toilet. And to me, that's what they want. They want to be your God, the government. They don't want you looking to God. They want to be the God. And that's part of this COVID. We're being attacked on so many different fronts. It isn't funny right now. And it's going to come again. I'm telling you, there's going to be another huge draconian lockdown. They're coming out. This new variant, they call it. They said they isolated that way back in July. I put something on the Telegram about it. It's all fake.
Yeah, and conveniently the day after Thanksgiving.
And also, since they're rolling out vaccine children, they're saying that it is specifically attacks children. Come on.
In reality, okay, check it out, Rick. Okay, regardless, okay, how do I put this? Well, you're not easily offended. Okay, you do understand that this China virus is actually a serious thing. Okay, now it's not 100% fake. I mean, I've lost 2 friends, friends that I've known.
But
Because
but why? People die of the flu every year. You look at
right,
in 2019, it was a huge amount of people. People die of the flu. This is no different than any other year. Actually, the numbers are less. I put things up on the tail end of all my videos, and the world death count never went up. You go back to the first one back in the early 20s. Yeah, it was a huge amount of folks passed away from it. This
right,
time,
right.
no. It's all on the TV. It's all media driven.
Yeah, they've politicized it, and it's a lot of it. Yes, is propaganda, but I
It's fear
mean,
porn.
it is. I have no problem with somebody not getting vaccinated. I didn't want to get vaccinated, but I had to do it because, well, not because I had to. I wasn't physically forced to, but it was for my employment at a previous job. And then come to find out, if you do have the vaccination, you could still get it. So that job, I quit that job because after I got this, after I got double jabbed, I started getting internal company emails saying, oh, okay, well, 4 people have tested positive. And then the next day it was like 3 people. And then the next day it was like 4 more people. It's like, okay, well, okay, you guys convinced me to get this jab so I can keep my job, no jab, no job. But then all these people that are vaccinated are testing positive for it. And I got scared. One night I showed up for work because I was working the graveyard shift and I wasn't feeling top notch. I was kind of, feeling a little under the weather. And I went home and they had to do it. They didn't, they didn't give me no flack about it. Like, okay. And they gave me the COVID pay. I spent a few days at home, whatever. And I got scared, dude. And I quit. Because that's what they're pushing into your friggin' head, and it sucks that we have to live like this, and I see things that happen now out there in the Philippines where where you have to wear a mask and then you also have to wear a freaking welding mask on top of that.
Yeah, and it's a patchwork too here. Some places enforce it, some don't.
Right.
It's just like the motorcycle laws. Before they let people off the hook for a lot of stuff. No helmet, 2 or 3 kids on the bike,
Sure, yeah,
slippers, sando. Now, because they're not getting the money like before, they're giving tickets for people not wearing closed-toed shoes. They're hitting them for you're not allowed to wear this kind of shirt on a motorcycle here.
Why?
Actually, you can't go out in public without a shirt on. Me, I like to go, now inside here I do, but
Sure.
when I go out into public, you have to have a shirt on. You're not allowed to go without a shirt. They will say something to you. I actually found that out just walking into town. I had the shirt in my pocket to go into the store, but a couple of policemen were there and they said, hey, you have to have a shirt on. They weren't nasty or anything like that.
Right.
They were actually pretty nice people. But one thing here I want people to understand this. I watch a lot of these auditors about the police in the States and how they overstep and don't know the laws. You won't find that here too often with the police here. Most of the police here are highly educated. They're not dummies, and they're actually masters at de-escalation. They just got a way about them. I know quite a few of them, and I wish we had cops like here in the States.
See, yeah, that's the thing. I don't really understand how the police situation works there, because all I'm familiar with is like the barangay and like Karina's family is in Cavite. So you have like a broken, the way I see it, because I'm not that educated, it's like a broken down police department. Is that how that works?
Well, the police here don't handle traffic. You look in the States, they're just they're just tax collectors, road pirates, I call them.
Oh, okay.
Here, they don't bother with the traffic unless there's something just totally crazy. They investigate crime. When they have their police checkpoints, it's to look for stolen motorcycles and crime. They don't bother themselves with traffic.
I'm listening.
So that's a good thing. You look in the States, they're just trying to bust you for something, and they're not your friend. I mean, you just they're going to extract money out of you any way they can. And me, whenever I ran into a cop, I took the fifth every time. I refused to speak to them because they're looking for trouble.
Right.
Hey, your twin is on.
Yeah, I got to turn off the mic. Hold on a second. Okay, we're good. All right. Yeah, just in case we got backup Bert there. Yeah, but see, Rick, I'm not anti-cop. Back in the early 2000s, I wasn't anti-cop because LAPD back in the day used to be very corrupt. LA Sheriff's Department, stuff like that. But they kind of, I've noticed over the years, police departments have, they've gotten their shit together to where they're not really screwing with the normal people. You know, they're not out there looking for trouble. Like, okay, I'm gonna pull this white dude over and, you know, find a way to figure out how to search his car to ultimately find nothing, and hopefully I find something.
Well, I'll tell you what happened to me. One of my early encounters with the police. I was a young electrician. You know, it was in my early 20s, and we got a job in Chicago. And I was just a laborer, you know, just learning my trade. And there was one guy on there that I hit it off with. He was doing the same job as me, good worker, and he was a strong Christian dude. And you know, I had a lot of questions, and he had a lot of answers. I mean, he knew his Bible very good. He was from Tennessee, Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, and the cops got us. We were drinking some beer in public. Okay, now he was not a doper at all. He wasn't a doper. Right. And the cops popped us for drinking the beer, and it was just a fine, $35 fine back then, no big deal. But they had put us in the back of the car, and they had us handcuffed in the car, and then they wound up letting me go. But as soon as they let us out of the car, they pulled the seat out and they found dope. And I know this guy wasn't a doper, and they arrested him.
Like drugs or weed?
Drugs, powder.
Oh, okay.
And they pulled that out, and they had their test kit already out, and they put it on the hood, and it was on his side, so they popped him. Lucky I didn't sit on that side. Wow. So they popped him for it, and he lost his job. They basically ruined him. And I knew this guy. I've been working with him for months, and we shied away from the guys that were doing dope. In construction, there's guys that do dope. There's a lot of meth. There's speed back then, they called it. Speed. And, yeah. And
or crank.
We weren't into that. I wasn't into that. When I was young, I was an athlete, and I didn't want to put anything in my body. I wasn't a weed smoker. I didn't do any of that stuff. You know, I drank some, but it wasn't like a regular thing. You know, but that was one of my first encounters, and they set him up. You know, and he got charged for it. He got jail time and everything. Lost his job.
That's incredible.
And that's how I ran into it. I ran into trouble like that numerous occasions. I actually rented a small upstairs apartment, and you know, I lived in a bad neighborhood, and I had the bottom door barricaded, the side door, and then you had to go straight to a landing and up to my place. And all of a sudden, there's a knock on the upstairs door, and I had that barricaded with wood. And the stairs were creaky, and I never heard anybody coming up the stairs. And they started banging on the door. This is the police. They were looking for somebody named Miller. And I said, "There's no Miller here." I opened up the door. I said, "There's no Miller." As soon as I opened up the door, they just gang rushed me, threw me to the floor. There was actually about 20 cops in there. They took my firearm, which was legal. Never did get it back. They stood on my neck. They threw me in jail for days. All they had to do was pull my wallet out and see who I was. I wasn't this guy Miller. Right. But yet I was put in jail for 4 days because I didn't have any money for the bond, and arraigned, all kinds of stuff. And I'm telling them I'm not Miller. And finally, when the prince came back, when they fingerprinted me, and those came back. Then they let me go, and not even an apology. I got back to my place. They left it open. Everything I owned was stolen. Clothes, everything. I lost everything I had. And my car got towed because I had parked it on the street. And you weren't allowed to park on the street at nighttime. You had to pull it into the drive.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
And so my car got towed, and I had to pay to get it out. I had to pay hundreds of dollars to get it out.
Oh my God.
So these are what I ran into.
Hey, Rickshaw, check it out.
Yep.
I'm doing the pee-pee dance. If you turn your phone like horizontally, maybe hold the floor for a little bit and check out the live chat and keep these.
I'm not seeing the chat at all.
Oh, really? Huh. Strange.
Did you lose my picture?
No, your picture's here. It's just horizontal. All right, listen, I got to step away for
now I see the chat. I got Frosty, Philip, Scott.
Hang out with the chat for a minute. I got to pee, otherwise I'm gonna need some Depends here. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Yep. So yeah. Just kind of give me like 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Not a problem.
All right, brother.
Hey, glad you guys came in. I tried to advertise it on the channel somewhat. See, whenever I go change this, I lost my chat again. Let me see. Somebody, let's see what we got here. It's hard for me to read this. It's real small on the phone, guys. I'm just going to go back to the. Across the street, and we talked to them about theirs, so they got their provisions for a tank. I think my thing went out there, Sean, for a little bit.
It did. My bad. Hold on. Talk about organization. I apologize. I deeply apologize to that. I hope I don't lose 150,000 subscribers.
Oh my! I hope you pick up a few.
Oh,
I'll tell you what, I really like some of them dogs that you take care of. They all seem pretty well mannered.
Oh, thank you so much. You know what? I'm new to the job. I've only been there for about a month now, and to be honest with you, in contrast to like what's on my resume, I enjoy it. Those dogs, I mean, some of them are pains in the butts, but for the most part, it's a gratifying job. It's like when I worked.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, like when I worked in theater, whether it's plays or rock and roll or whatever, or recording studio. The recording studio, that was there was some gratification in that, but working in theater, it's a very thankless job, you know. It really is. Even though you're putting, you know, I had creative control. Like when I worked in that theater in New Hampshire up until the China virus came, I had total. I was sound design for, like, you know, things like Wizard of Oz, you know, Shrek the Musical, you know, and this stuff is all pre-planned like 2 months prior to rehearsals, you know. So you're doing design and you're in solid communication with the director of the play and stuff like that. And that felt good. But when it came down to showtime, very thankless, you know. I'm not sure if we discussed this before. It's like, okay, when people wear those body mics.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, look, you're on the TV now, huh? Good morning, mister. How are you doing, precious? My beautiful baby boy, huh?
That's Little Rickshaw.
Yeah, this is Geronimo.
What's up,
I gave
buddy?
him a good, strong Indian name. That was always one of my favorite guys because he was like never give up, never surrender.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he said when he got old before he died, he said he wished he did never stop fighting until he killed them all.
Oh boy,
you gotta love Geronimo.
Let me ask you this, Rick. This is something that's on the list that I lost, the lost list, wherever the hell that is. I don't know where it's at. Now, are the kids bilingual? Let me ask you that.
Absolutely.
Oh, so they're Tagalog and English, right?
Yeah. Hang on, I'm getting my coffee. Thank you.
All right. Who wants coffee? Who wants some coffee?
Look at this. There's from Tropical Tim.
Oh yeah, Rickshaw out.
Tropical Tim gave that as a gift.
Wow.
It's black cup until you put hot coffee in it, then it changes color.
Wow. Where do you have that made at? In the
somewhere around here, around where he lives, up in Tondo.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he's not too active. I mean, but when he is. You know,
he's busy now.
What are they doing? Just living life, having fun, or?
Yeah, I think he's looking to get a new car here pretty soon. Okay. I was telling him about the be careful. I know he doesn't want to stick shift because of the traffic, but like when I bought my car, I don't want to get into the CVT transmissions. As far as I've seen, I watch a lot of car shows. Nobody has got it right. All of them. I actually had a buddy that bought a Galaxy 500, big white one, and it was a beautiful, beautiful car. And they had a 1-year warranty on it, and the CVT went, and they went ahead and
what is CVT? What is
it's
that?
a constant velocity transmission.
Oh, okay.
It's a chain drive, and it went, and it tore it completely up to where they had to replace it. Well, then his warranty was out, and not even a year later, it went out again. And what happened to that car? It was the most beautiful car in the junkyard, and the blue book on them is just crap. And nobody makes them. Nobody makes them good.
Wow.
You know, they're doing this for fuel economy and EPA stuff, and it's all crap. Another thing I saw, just EPA in California, if your diesel truck is over 4 years old, they don't want it coming in the state now.
Yep, that applies to my buddy Philip Calais, who's he's a long haul truck driver. Yeah, you can't, you know.
How ridiculous.
Yeah, back 10 years ago, it was 10 or 11 years ago. He picked me and Karina up. We were in Southern California. He picked Karina up, and we went on a road trip for a week. He picked us up in the Freightliner. We went up the West Coast. We dropped a load of what was it? Jack in the Box ranch dressing somewhere up in Washington. And then we stopped into Idaho to pick up a load of potatoes. But yeah, back then, you know, he was driving a Standard, you know. But nowadays, everything's like all automatic. It's all, you know. I don't know 100% the reason why, you know. But emissions, sure, you know. But I could tell you one thing. There's never going to be the day where every car is going to be electric. Who's going to be able to afford an electric freaking car?
It's just a big bunch of hype, because if you think about it, what are they going to do with all the old batteries? You know, and the charging stations. There's
Right.
no infrastructure. That's why they're not doing hydrogen, because there's no infrastructure for it. And how
Right.
much, how much pollution is going to be caused by all these charging stations? And
True.
these things don't go far. Your car is your freedom machine. And if you got something that you got to sit for so many hours to plug it in, that's not the way you travel.
Absolutely not.
When I went to California, I come out of, I was left from Philly, and I was towing a car. I couldn't find a trailer to bring my stuff because I was moving out there. So what I did was I found a Lincoln for $300, and I had a tow bar. So I went ahead and I used that as my trailer, and I made it across the country in like 50 hours to California. Because what I did is I just drove, and then when I got where I was tired and doing the nod, I pulled over under a bridge and just crashed. And sometimes it was only 15 minutes, sometimes an hour or two. And then I did stop and stay at a hotel in Golden, Colorado.
Okay.
And when I got there, there was a store up the street, and I went up there and they had Coors beer, and, when in Rome, right? So I grabbed myself a 6-pack of Coors beer, and it had a born-on date of that day.
Oh,
and that
really?
was some of the tastiest beer I ever drank.
Wow.
And I went back to the thing, and I slept, and 6 hours later, I was up and finished my trip up. So I made it in like 50 hours.
From what state to California?
I left out of Philly.
Okay, Pennsylvania to
but I had a buddy of mine worked out in California, somewhere up the onion fields. He works on jet planes. One of the things he did was design a wing, and he made me a jammer, a radar jammer. And then I also had on my plates, with the laser, they try to shoot the plates. Well, I have that little thing that messes that up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I got on there, and I was cruising at over 100 miles an hour for even towing that trailer. I had the car on a tow bar. It was
100 miles an hour with the towing. Holy
yep,
shit.
I had a 79 Lincoln I was driving, and an 89 Lincoln is my tow vehicle. And then when I got the 89 to California, I put it up for sale, and I got a couple thousand for it out there. I got it for 300, and I sold it for a couple thousand. It ran, but the thing that was wrong, the radio didn't work, the gauges didn't work. It had an electrical problem. And then I went in and checked the fuses and did a few relays, and I got the gauges all working again. And then I put a for sale sign on it, and the dude, right when I put the for sale sign on, one of the neighbors, this Mexican dude, he walked up and he says, "How much you want for it?" And I says, "Make me an offer." He goes, "Oh, I got 2,500," and I said, "Sold." I took the sign out and and sold it. That like the day I put the sign on. So
what a trip, man! Wow.
Yeah. I was actually thinking of going back and bringing cars from the east and bringing them out west and selling them, because some of them from the south, they have no rust on them.
True.
Like California, they rust from the top down.
Yeah, on the East Coast, they rust from the bottom up.
Yeah, cancer.
The last vehicle that I owned, I had a 2014 very nice vehicle, a Chrysler 300, and because of this China virus, I ended up having to drive it back to the bank, but that's a different story. But I'll tell you what, that was a great vehicle. However, how luxury that vehicle was, there were signs of rust on the bottom of it when I bought it. But that's just something, they salt the roads up there, Yeah,
me, whenever I would look for a car, I always bring some coveralls and I climb underneath them and look at them real good. I only ever got one bad vehicle. I bought a truck, 77 Chevy truck, and straight six in it. And it was a beautiful truck. The paint was a little bit faded, but there was no rust anywhere.
Right.
The guy took good care of it, and I was hauling shale, which is pretty heavy. And
what is shale?
It's a chips of rock.
Oh, okay.
And I was using that to put a road down. And every weekend I was hauling at least 2 loads, and the motor popped. It actually the crankshaft broke, and it sent a piston out the side. Now it still ran. Believe it or not, it still ran. It started back up and ran, but it was just knocking and chewing oil and leaking all over the place. And it's the only thing I had. So I was driving it to work. I was working at a factory doing electrical work in there. And I went past the guy who sold it to me, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm really sorry." I said, "No, I don't blame you, dude. It's, I was hauling a lot of stuff." And he gave me a motor. It was a motor that his buddy had bought, and he bought the truck cheap and then put a big motor in to tow.
Right.
And so the motor had been sitting for so many years on a pallet. So we went up and got it. He even took me in his truck. We went, picked the motor up, and I put it in. It was a 292 straight 6. And he gave me a bunch of parts with it, fuel pump, new distributor, carb, all kinds of parts with it. And then I had that truck for years and years. That was a great truck. And those trucks, the late 70s model Chevy, I think is the best looking Chevy truck. Nice, boxy is good, like Dudley Moore said. Boxy is good.
Boxy is good. I think I might have missed that one in my era. You're probably a decade ahead of me. Is yours? How old are you? How old are you, Rickshaw, Philippines?
60. 60?
I'm 47. You're 13 years older. You're almost old enough to be my dad. Yeah, I'm 47. But you know what? I noticed earlier. It's like, and yesterday and the day before, and like maybe the year prior, like when I crouch down to do things, even when it comes down like with this new job, like when you go in to crate the dogs to feed them at night, the boarding dogs, I crouch down, and when I stand up, my friggin' knees hurt, man. Oh, my God.
There is a big difference in the States how people care for their dogs and how they care for them here. To me, it's a dog's basically a garbage disposal.
Out there in the Philippines, yes.
Yeah. They don't. They'll have worms their entire life. They don't live long. I've done vlogs here where I walk down, and there's some beautiful dogs here, and they're just on a chain, and they're never going to get off that chain. They are in jail for their entire life, and some of them get they bark because they want you to pet them, but nobody will go near them, so they get antisocial, and then they wind up getting mean. They go crazy. It's like being in solitary confinement for a human. Dogs are, you got to pet and love up your dog. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Shit. Hold on. Gee, I'm trying to keep with this with the chat here. How do I spell here? Yeah, that breaks my heart, dude. That breaks my heart because, now that I have this new job, which is something I'm going to keep, I see the changing of colors there. That is really friggin' cool, buddy. Wow.
Yeah, Tim's a pretty solid fellow. I really like him and his sweetheart.
I can tell.
They are some of the nicest people I've met in years. They're just real good people.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I've only engaged with him like a few times, but yeah. Him and the wife they're on fire, man. That's awesome. But what really broke my heart, it breaks my heart. Is like, I saw that thing firsthand when I was in the Philippines too. I only spent, I didn't live there for a year. I only went there to visit. But it's like, okay, we went over to one of Karina's sister's houses or her cousins or something like that, and they live in a subdivision like you do, and their place was nice. Okay, so and then next door, because these houses are this close together, right? That's whatever. But then I'm looking next door over at the dogs. These people got like 4 or 5 dogs, and they're all they're all chained up. It's 120,000 degrees out there with 100% humidity, and then you got this one dog, and all it is just bones and ribs, and it's like, it broke my heart. There's nothing I could do about it. I can't say anything. I can't interject because it's not my place. I could look at Karina and be like, Karina, is this really? And then Karina's like, because that's part of, it's just how things are like out there. Even in Manila, in like Metro Manila, there's street dogs running all over the place.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, when you're riding your bike here, that's one of the dangers. I did a thing called Dangers in the Philippines. It was my most viewed vlog. I mean, there's tens of thousands of people watch that one.
Mm-hmm.
And some people really hit me hard because I said what the dangers were. And one of the biggest dangers I thought here is dogs. And if you're riding a motorcycle, they just pop out from nowhere. You hit one, you're going down. It's just how it's going to be. And people really hammered me for that, about that. You know, a lot of trolls on there hammered me about that video. But the other thing that I thought was dangerous was the umbrellas. You know, when I go down to Manila, I always have glasses on now, safety glasses, because these people, they're not conscious of their umbrella, and being that they're short and the height I'm at, that umbrella, those pointy things, I've been hit in the face so many times with an umbrella. I'm serious.
Oh my gosh.
So for me, that's a danger. And some people say, well, what about the women, and what about all, you know, these terrible? Well, I don't know anything about that. I didn't come here trolling for women. I came here to find a wife. I found a beautiful little sweetheart, and I wanted kids. We got them, and this is what I wanted to do.
Amen, brother. Amen. It's a trip. I mean, I did go through some culture shock when I was there. Like, you know, the umbrella thing, that's a new one to me, but like potholes in the sidewalk. Like when I was, you know, those 2 days that we spent in Manila, there was this one pothole. It was about the size of I don't know. It was probably 12 to 14 inches wide. And I almost fell into that thing twice. Because there was like between the hotel and the 7-Eleven, you know, you got to walk down the sidewalk. Yeah, they, you know, out here in the United States, you know, they would put like a traffic cone in front of it or something. Nope. White man almost fell into a friggin' hole. Imagine if I would have went there and fucking broke a leg or something.
Well, when I first got here, I stepped through. They have these concrete covers, and there's supposed to be rebar in them. And I was walking, and my wife was always saying, "Don't walk on those." And I walked on one, and it broke. It broke right in half, and I went down into like the gray water drain out of the septic systems, and got a huge infection. And my foot actually got stuck because the concrete broke. When it broke like this, it like locked my foot in Chinese finger puzzle.
Yep.
And we got in there and cleaned it up really good, and I still got an infection in there. You know, because it basically stepped in sewage. And so that's another thing you have to watch out for when you're walking. You know, you got to have your head down, kind of. You know, you need to be aware of your surroundings, but you got to watch what you're stepping into. And especially where we first lived, you couldn't walk 2 paces without a big pile of dog poop. You know, it was just everywhere. And the dogs here, they don't poop in the grass; they poop on the concrete.
Incredible. You know,
some people hit me and they said, "Oh, you complain a lot." Now, you know what it is? I'm warning people. I'm letting them know what you're going to run into. This is not the Western world. You know, whenever I used to walk my dogs,
definitely not the Western world.
I used to always carry a couple of bread bags. You know, just put it on backwards, and as soon as they pooped, I cleaned it up. And then also when I had like a cane, and it was a dustpan thing. You know, it was a sweep set. And whenever my dog would poop, I'd stick that under his butt, and he'd poop right into that. You know?
There you go.
So that way I didn't have to pick it up.
That's what my days consist of. You know, working at this doggy daycare. You know, I got the scooper and the burp, and I do one of these numbers. Then you put it in and then you hose it down with the pressure sprayer. Oh my gosh!
The only time I had a thing where I took care of a guy's dog. I had a buddy. It was a 200-pound Rottweiler chocolate lab mix, and it was this big old happy dog. First time I seen it, you know, he was just shaking. He wanted petted, so I didn't know he was supposed to be a mean dog. I just went up and started petting him and tussling him, and he wanted to wrestle and play. And my buddy was shocked. He thought, "Oh my gosh, the dog got out. I thought he was going to kill you. You're the first person who ever was able to get near him." Mm-hmm. And then whenever him and his wife would go on vacation, they'd always leave me with his big boy. And,
there you go.
I love that dog, and he paid me. I said, no, you don't got to pay me. I'll take him. And no, I want to pay you for that because I can't take him anywhere else. And I said, hey, anytime you guys want to go, like they'd go for weekend trips and stuff. He's a construction guy, electrician like me, and they would leave him with me, and I'd take him anywhere. He listened to me better than he listened to his owner. You know, I told him, I said, if you ever decide you want to not have this dog anymore, I said, you give him to me. I just love that guy. Called him Guinea. His name was Guinea.
Oh my gosh. See, that's so cool. It's like where I'm working at now, it's like I deal with countless breeds and countless sizes of dogs. Okay. Any you name it, they're there. Like, for instance, a bull mastiff. I've never seen a bull mastiff in my life until I saw this thing. Now I stand. You're a tall guy. You stand like 7'8", right? I'm 6'2" if I stand up straight. Now this bull mastiff, and I only dealt with him for like maybe him and a bunch of other dogs for like, because they were boarding, so we were putting them to bed and stuff like that after feeding. So that dog, so I stand 6'2", and this dog was waist high to me. This dog was this high. Talk about a gentle giant. Oh my God.
Oh, you know something? It's all how you bring them up.
Yeah.
I hear people saying pit bulls are terrible, and there's places where you're not even allowed to have them and all this stuff.
It all depends on how you bring them up. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like your kids.
Yeah. Like at the doggy daycare, every single animal that's there, whether they're a day dog or they're boarding, they all have to pass a temperamental screening. They all have to pass temperamental screening prior to being, us accepting their money, and some dogs work, some dogs don't, but the majority do. But dealing with, you'd be surprised. There could be some mean ass looking dogs, intimidating looking dogs like a Rottweiler or a growling pit bull, but it's your approach with them and the way that you interact with them. You talk to them like they're babies, but they're not, where I work, they're not allowed to either do daycare or board unless they pass a temperamental screening.
Well, something, I had a dog one time. It was a runt, and my daughter brought it home, and I'm not kidding you, this dog could talk.
Could talk like hello.
It could talk. It would talk to you. It was my beautiful pup. She went with me everywhere. She looked like an old mop. I actually had a picture of her where she was laying in the corner of the dining room, and I put my walking stick down in between her lap. She was, and I'm not kidding you. I actually took a picture of that, and you never would know it was a dog.
Mop dog.
Looked like a mop. She was just this dirty dishwater color, but it was one of my favorite pups. And the sad thing about it, when I got divorced, the wife took it and then got rid of it. And that dog, it went into like a shock after I was gone, because I was put out. I was just get out, not a good deal. But that was my favorite dog, because she loved me. She just couldn't, she was just kind of a nervous pup, not a mean dog, just a little love. But when I would come home from work, that dog just would fly out and jump. She wasn't a big dog. She only went about 30, 35 pounds, but she would jump up to my shoulders and I'd have to catch her. And the best frisbee dog you ever see.
That's because the dog trusts you. The dog.
Yeah. I could throw a frisbee and this dog would jump 7 feet in the air and grab this frisbee. Never met. She was the best frisbee dog.
I don't want to interrupt, but okay, back onto the chat here. Scott Expat in the Philippines just said, what time is it now? It's 2 minutes ago, because we've been talking. He's complimenting. He says, Rickshaw, beautiful kids, cute boy.
Yeah,
because you're little bunso. You know what bunso is, right?
No, it must be Visayan or something.
No, Tagalog. Bunso means baby. Here's a funny one. And then we'll get back onto the dog thing. When Korea and I first met, she tricked me. You know how to say I love you in Tagalog, right?
Yeah.
Mahal kita, right?
Mahal kita. Yeah.
Right.
Or with your spouse, inibig mahal kita.
Right. So I was tricked. This is a funny one. It's too bad Karina's not here to witness me throwing her under the bus. She pulled a fast one on me. She says, "This is how you say I love you in Tagalog." Okay, I'm like, okay. And this was like kind of like, a few weeks after we met, or a couple months, whatever. Time flies. She goes, "Okay, this is how you say I love you. I putang love ina mo you. Putang ina mo." Oh, she threw me under the bus with that one. We all know what that means, right?
Yeah.
Putang ina mo. You think some dummy like me back in the day would be like, oh, I love you. Putang ina mo. Good thing she let me know about that before, I went to the Philippines, saying that to like her mom or something like that. Her mom passed away last month, by the way. It's kind of sad. But Karina owns in Cavite, she has a you know how the cemeteries work out there. They're like cities, right? Or like little towns. And Karina has a lot. I don't know the square footage of it, but it's pretty big. And she has a few family members buried there. So that's a good thing as far as like, if a family member dies, I mean, as far as on the pocketbook, because it's already paid for. So Karina provides for her family out there so much. And it was so sad. We watched her mom pass away over the phone up until out here we call them corners, but out there, yeah, it was kind of a big deal. But her mom, she lived a long life, she was 80 plus years old. If any younger than that, that'd be, more devastating. But yeah, what a trip, man. What a trip. Okay, where were we? I got mildly distracted there for a moment. So we got 5 people in here. We got 5,000 people in here. Scott, expat in the Philippines. He's stuck in Australia. Yeah, he was talking about the kids. He said my link is not. How is he saying my link is not working if he's into the chat right now? I don't get that.
Might not be able to see us talking.
No. Scott's a weird fellow, just like you and I, or more like me. I'm a weird fellow. He's in here. He might be distracted with his dog Snowy. That's a good looking dog he's got there too. Yeah,
we've been on a hunt for a dog for a while now.
Yeah, good thing you brought that up. In Cavite, how far are you from Cavite? You're on the other side of the top.
About 60 miles.
About 60 miles. Okay. A couple of Karina's family members, they have dogs that are well taken care of. And they might have some leads to maybe I can, have Karina talk, you know how things work.
Well, the main thing I'm looking for is I want the shortest haired dog I can get because of the tick problem. Because it's going to be out with us running around. It's not going to be a dog that just lives in the house all day and we don't let it out. It's going to go wherever we go. If we go in the car, it's going to come in the car with us.
Sure, an everywhere dog, yeah. So
we had 2 dogs before that. Every morning, my wife and I would sit out on the porch and pick, 50, 60 ticks off of each dog.
Oh, that's nonsense. Yeah.
And this is just what you got here. Now we couldn't find any like Advantage or any of that stuff here at that time. Now, yeah, I can find it. Lazada's got it. There's a whole bunch of places you can get it. And in this area too, there's a lot more stuff than when we lived in GMA. We can get a lot more things. I even found sour cream the other day in the store.
Really?
Yeah. So, and that was the first I've seen that in 9+ years.
Like real sour cream.
Real sour cream. And it's funny too, when I would go to the store, some of it was me because it's not packaged like it is. Like when I first went to get flour.
Right.
I never saw it. And my friend said, "Could you pick me up 2 boxes of flour?" She was going to bake some cookies, and I never seen it. So I actually said, "Hey, I need the flour, baking flour," and they took me to it. It was way on the bottom shelf, and it's in a box. It's in a little box like pancake mix, you know.
That's
and
just
usually
weird.
Flour in the States is in a 5-pound bag, or a 10-pound bag.
Right.
So I never found it because I didn't know what I was looking for, actually. And the sour cream is in like a milk carton.
And just like milk out there. See that when I was out there for the 2.5 weeks I was out there, there were certain things, like we had no problem at the grocery store because, you know, the American dollar goes a long way there. And we were feeding the masses while we were there, you know, like filling up 2 shopping carts. That would be like something you would not do here in the United States, but out there it was kind of cool to be able to like walk down the aisles back and not even look at the prices. But they didn't have things like milk or, like you're saying, sour cream, you know. And I went over to the meat department, and you know, like the meat counter where you're gonna have like red meat and stuff like that. I was like, that was a little discouraging to me. You know,
well, it's different.
The cuts are different. You know, there's no USDA out there. You know
what happens if, like, our one store that we always went to, they butcher the stuff right in the back. You can see it's kind of like a glass, and you can see them back there working. There's always somebody different. They're usually very young, you know, low paid, and they don't know what the cuts of meat are. They were never trained for it, so they just chop it up. Even when you go to the Gai Tai, where you can get really cheap beef, they just take a big knife and slice you off a big chunk. It's not any kind of specific cut. There's no bandsaw to do it. I used to butcher meat. You know, I butchered it myself. I actually went and got a plastic book, you know, a spiral bound book that told you how to cut the meat. Because I used to pay a guy to butcher the cows.
Right.
And he kept raising his price every time. And I thought, you know what, screw it. I'm going to take the money this time and just buy a meat cutting bandsaw. And I went down to the library and got a book. And then the lady at the library said, "Oh, you know, you can buy that book." Because I asked if I could buy it off the library, and because they had a couple of them, they said, "No, we can't sell it, but you can buy it." And she gave me the place, and I ordered the book. Came a couple weeks later, and it was a plastic, you know, because you're right there in the meat shop.
Sure.
You don't want to get. And I learned how to cut the meat, how to get porterhouses or T-bones, and you know,
different. The
proper cow tongue. My favorite out of the cow is the tongue. That's my absolute favorite cut off of the cow.
You know, it's weird. Like the grocery store that we went to was inside of SM Mall, so it was the SM grocery store.
Yeah,
and it was big. They had all sorts of shit in there.
Oh yeah, but it's still not American.
It wasn't. The meat department was like, it was discouraging. I mean, I didn't make a big deal out of it. Obviously, you know, I kept my mouth shut. I did manage to get some avocados. Here's a funny one. You know, I was like, you know, foreigner in the Philippines. I'm gonna show these people how to make guacamole. You know, so I got some tomatoes, and I got the avocados and all this stuff. You know, Mexican Americanized guacamole, right? But I got this one pepper, right? It was about that big, and I'm talking a big guacamole. You know, I got like, you know, 10 avocados, and you know, because price wasn't an issue there. So I made this guacamole, you know, and I was like, you know, it was part of, you know, what was going on with the festivities there that night, and inside the subdivision we were at. And you know, some people had some. They're like, "Oh, that's too spicy." It was too spicy. So later on that night, you know, I brought it down to the corner, and where I was hanging out with some kuyas there. You know, they're all family members of Karina, or family members, or, you know, just close people. Man, those dudes tore it up. You know, they were drinking Red Horse all night.
They like their spicy stuff here. Filipinos, they eat the spicy stuff. The peppers here, when you buy them, you could get a little innocent looking red pepper like a cayenne pepper, and it's not too spicy. And then in that same store you bought it from, my wife buys like a big bag of them. The next one might be so hot you can't even think straight. You know.
Oh yeah.
My wife gobbles them up.
I like a good pepper on the intake, but the outtake, not so much. But
that's why you got to stick with cayenne, because they don't come out hot.
Oh, my best friend in the whole wide world. Back to the chat here. My best friend in the whole wide world. I've known Josh since we were in the 2nd grade. He is chimed in right now. He donates plasma. He's donating plasma today, so he can't really hear anything. But he's reading what's going on here. What's up, buddy?
He's a pure blood.
Yep. No, his blood type is type O negative.
But he's a pure blood. No jab.
Oh, no jab. No jab.
Yeah.
No jab.
I saw a big thing. Red Cross isn't taking any blood from people who have the jab.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's how it is. That's how they're, it's fucking, this whole thing is just like, it's borderline overwhelming. Hold the fort for literally 30 seconds. Hold on.
Well, I'll keep it going. One of the things with this, I think why they're doing the big push on the jab again, and I think they're going to do lockdowns and make a big thing, is to hide the fact of the Maxwell trial going on. This thing is big. You had the Epstein guy. He was murdered in a prison. I actually did some electrical work in a prison, and you can't go anywhere without cameras all over the place. Every place has a camera.
Yep.
And he kills himself while he's on suicide watch? Baloney.
All right, let's talk about that. Okay. Oh, my buddy Josh chimed in. Yep, no jab. No jab, Josh. Joshua Nichols.
There you go.
Yep. All right. So a next topic that is on the list that I cannot find anywhere. I feel like Tropical Tim in the Philippines. Him and his wife know how to put on a good live, by the way. Those are fun. But they put them on at the wrong time as far as my schedule goes. 4 a.m. I did wake up to watch 2, though. Shit.
Yeah, we did one when we were living in Carmona. He came over to our house and we did. I
remember that.
There.
Yeah, I remember that.
We had
because
to put that show on. It was a major headache because the signal there was just horrible.
It worked out fine, but I vividly remember that because if you take off those glasses, you might have bottle caps behind your eyes because behind those bottle caps, Rickshaw is actually blind.
You know what started the glasses?
I think it's cool.
When I was just getting ready to get the camera equipment and all the stuff to start doing this, my daughter, there was a machine at the mall. We were in I think it was can't remember the name of town. Sorry. But there was a thing where you put in a peso and you could get something out. Well, she got these blue glasses came out, and
where were you at?
We were at a mall, and it was a machine in the middle of the floor that you put in, and it was a surprise gift. Well, she put her peso in.
Hold on. You're with who? You're with your daughter?
Yeah.
What state? Was it in the United States?
No, that was here in the Philippines.
Oh, the kiddo. Okay.
Yeah, my little daughter. Yeah.
Oh, the baby. Okay. Boom.
And she got these blue glasses.
Yeah.
And that just it became the trademark. You don't wear these when you're doing your live.
That's great, though, dude. I dig it. I mean, it's like, it's like everyone has like their brand. I mean, I don't have a brand yet. Some people, like the people that unsubscribe from me because I fucked up the last live stream. People just have such soft hearts and they just take this YouTube thing so friggin' seriously. They named me because of you, Sensei Influencer. They named me Ghee. Okay, so I used to be Ghee on here, but now it's Sean's Amazing Adventures because I'm not Ghee.
Since you brought up the Ghee,
what's up? Let's talk about that, buddy.
When I started making the Ghee,
the Ghee,
I watched all kinds of videos, Indian chicks and all these people doing it. And it was kind of labor intensive. Well, I got a new way of doing it now. I take 4 pounds of butter. I have a ceramic pan.
What do you
I
mean
have,
4 pounds, like 4 lbs?
yeah, 4 pounds of butter.
That's a lot of butter.
And I put it in my pan, and I put the pencil burner on the lowest heat I can get. And then I just walk away. I forget it. I don't do anything to it at all. And it gets that scum on the top. I don't pick that off. I don't do anything with it.
Right.
And as soon as it stops bubbling, that means the water's out. I take
There
it
you
out,
go.
and it comes out a beautiful, beautiful color. Now, if you want it a little bit browner, you leave it on a little bit longer. Don't turn the heat up. Just leave it on longer, and it'll get a caramel color to it. But
yeah, I'm not sure how the color translate with this, but
it's a little bit darker than ours.
okay. Yeah, I think I might have stepped away, but I think the next batch I want it to be a little bit more yellow, so I'm going to cook it down for a little bit less time, and I'm probably definitely going to. That's kind of weird. Probably definitely going to do it at very.
Can you bring the ghee out?
Oh shit!
Can you bring the ghee out?
Bring out the ghee.
Bring out the ghee.
Oh, shit's getting serious here, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna also.
No, for real. No, for real though. Where'd he go? Oh, yeah, that's the right color right there, buddy. Yeah. Okay. You're doing ghee right.
It's super easy now. The trick is, as soon as it stops bubbling, that means the water's out. Okay. And then what I do is I just take it off. I run it. I pull the big thing of scum off the top, and then I run it through a filter right into the jar, and then I put it in the refrigerator for half an hour so it thickens, and then you put it on the shelf. You don't have to keep it in the refrigerator. Put it up on the shelf. We use it for any kind of frying. If we're going to fry chicken, if we're going to fry eggs, if I make the kids pancakes, no matter what we do, we're pretty much getting off the oil.
Yeah. Ever since you introduced me to the ghee, okay, the first time I bought the ghee, which is in this jar here.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's like this is maybe $11.49, but we'll call it $12 US dollar for how many? For 9 ounces. But I've repurposed this jar of ghee for the same purchase.
Yeah, this is my original ghee jar right here.
Yeah, store bought.
The label came off.
Oh, this one's coming off too, man.
When it gets down, I just fill them up again.
Yep. What I do is I have my the last time before I filled this with the ghee, I had my crazy Filipino wife. She was at the sink at the time. I says, "Hey, can you take this empty bottle of ghee and clean it all out, because we're about ready to make some ghee?" She's like, "No problem," because she knows what's up. The power of the ghee. It has a very high flash point of almost like 500 degrees. Honestly, since you turned me on to this, brother, I haven't used any oil. I haven't used anything we cook with. If I'm doing a steak or if I'm doing anything that requires any sort of thing like that, I'm using the ghee. I don't even turn on the overhead fan, because there's no smoke.
If you look at a lot of the doctors now, heart doctors, they want you to just completely get away from oil.
Yeah,
any oil. Because oil, what happens to oil, as soon as they put it in the bottle, it starts oxidizing. And what do? You take antioxidants, because oxidants are what ages you. Mm-hmm. And oil starts oxidizing immediately, and especially if you fry in it. If you're frying in oil, you are super oxygenating that oil, and it's not healthy. It's tough. It's tough on the heart. That's where you get all this plaque and stuff. Right. You look at a lot of these old timers that I knew an old guy. I think he was early 90s. He cooked everything in lard and bacon grease. Mm-hmm. Ate a bunch of eggs all the time and all this stuff, and his heart was strong as could be. The guy was in super good shape. I used to coon hunt with him all the time, and he used animal fat. He wouldn't touch oil. There was no oil in his house. He was an old bachelor, was at his house many times, and he never had a use for it, he said.
Right. I'm catching up. I'm paying attention. I'm going to catch up with the chat here. So we got a new guy here. Jonathan Prevet says, "Hi guys, I'm subscribed to both of you guys. Hope to be visiting next year, Philippines." Okay. My buddy Joshua. We got two. Okay, we have my buddy Joshua. He had to chime out. He might come back a little bit later. They might be fixing his that's such a they pay you to donate plasma. I wouldn't want to do it. But that is what it is. But okay, so we're good here with the chat. We have a steady 5 people here. It's better than 2. It's better than 2. You know what really sucks though? I really want to, I'm a cigarette smoker. I'm going to try and, cosmetics aren't the thing here. I mean, if we had 20 people in here, might be a different story, but I'm going to smoke a cigarette out the window while we're talking. I want to keep this going.
I chew, and I got a buddy, Ronald. He's coming here pretty soon, and he lives down south, and they have Twist there, and it's a B brand Twist.
What is that?
They make it kind of like a cigar, and then they roll it. They make it like a pretzel, and
what?
That's my favorite chew there is. Other than that, I like mail pouch. I don't like the real sweet stuff.
I don't chew tobacco. I smoke tobacco, and sometimes, not every day. It's kind of weird because out here, I don't want to get into the subject of marijuana, but it's very it's nothing out here. Meaning, like the only benefit that I have of smoking marijuana, and I don't have any. I'm not planning on smoking any. I'm not condoning it to young people, but you know what it does for me? Because I'm a skinny guy. If I smoke weed, I will eat your friggin' refrigerator and the door when I'm done.
Well, you know what happened to me? I had a friend that she got cancer. And
okay.
My other buddy, his mother-in-law had passed away from cancer, and he came into work one day and he had a bag of cookies. And I said, "Oh, what are these?" And he said, "These are cooked in butter. They're He got the weed from the, it was legal there in California. You have to go into a special shop, and they were buying this for his mother-in-law because she wouldn't eat. So she would eat the cookies, and then she would want to eat some food.
Yeah.
And he said, "Could you give these to your friend for me because this will help them?" Well, I got them, and that lady passed away. So I had the cookies sitting there, and
you try one?
I went golfing one time, and I didn't know you were only supposed to eat a quarter of it.
Oh,
I went ahead and just ate one of those cookies right before I went golfing. Now, I probably wasn't the best golfing guy to be with because I didn't talk to anybody. I was focusing on the ball, and I shot 6 under par.
Really?
I just was on that day. I was totally focused. My buddy that I golf with all the time, he said, "Man, that's the first time I ever golfed with you. You didn't say a word." But I was tuned out of everybody. The only thing there was me and the ball. You know what I mean?
That's so awesome.
And then the other funny thing that happened to it, I had a housekeeper that would come over. I had a real big house. It was actually cheaper to buy one of these big barns than it was a small house. So I bought this house. And but I had a housekeeper come in. She'd come in a couple times a week and clean. And I had them sitting in the bag on the counter.
Oh no!
We ate them all.
Oh no!
And when I got home, she had a key. She went in there by herself.
Your house
when I got in, she was sitting on the floor in the kitchen, totally freaked out, paranoid. Thought the military was going to come in, and she was freaked and was scared, just totally petrified.
Oh no! See,
and I seen the empty bag there, and I went, "Oh boy," because I used to tell her, when you're clean, when you're done eating, make yourself something to eat, do whatever you want. She was a really good housekeeper. I had her for years, but that was the end of her.
Oh no!
I never saw her again after.
See, since Karina, we've been together for 13 years now. She smoked weed maybe like less than 5 times since I've known her. And every time it doesn't work out good. She like either freaks out or immediately goes to bed or something. Like when I say freaking out, I mean like crawling under the bed. Like, you know, it's a group setting. You know, people are smoking pot, whatever. It's just weed. And weed doesn't work with Karina. She doesn't mind that I smoke weed because she likes to see me eat. You know, if I'm not, you know, normally like when we go out to eat and stuff like that, like at a restaurant, or even if we cook a meal at home, I'll eat part of it. You know, but
see what I don't get about it is they'll give you a doctor will give you a prescription for opiates, things like that. But when it comes to weed, it's just like absolutely not. You know, you're going to get busted for it.
no,
I don't think that's the way it should be.
do you know how things are here in the United States with weed now?
There's a lot of places that are opening up. I had a buddy when I was still there had a paper that he could go buy it.
All right, this is how it is. Rickshaw. This is how it is in California and in a lot of other states. In the state of California, where I'm at, okay, I can go to a store without any papers. I just have to have ID, you know, to prove I'm, you know, over 21. And they have it's all merchandised. It's all merchandised. There's different strains, different types, different brands, different names. They have edibles, they have vape, they have this and that. I can, there's an app there's an app on my phone, and I've done it twice since I've been back in California, since the COOF, since the China virus. It's an app called Weed Maps, and it's marijuana delivery. It's completely 100% illegal. I mean, it's completely 100% legal.
Yeah, because the reason why, because now they're taxing it. Look how expensive it gets. I had a buddy there that had cancer.
There's ways around the tax.
Yeah, he would go to one of these shops back then, and I drove him there one time. You can't go in unless you got the paper. But what happened with him, as soon as he got that, he was taken out of any foremanships or anything like that.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that these days.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
back then, this is 10 years ago or so.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah. Back then it was, no, I understand. Yeah. You have to have, like, you know, they used to call it a green card of all things. But nowadays, Rick, it's like going to the store to buy a pack of cigarettes or a candy bar, you know?
Yeah. It should be something that's legal. I mean, look at alcohol. It is. Alcohol
is worse than weed. I mean, I drink my beers. Everybody knows that. It's good and fine. That's worse than weed. You know, it really is. But this isn't a weed show. I want to talk about something that we forgot about 15 minutes ago. How long have we been in this? Oh, we're good. This is good. We got 5 people engaged, an hour and 38 minutes in. Let's talk about bang, bang, Maxwell silver hammer came down upon his head. You know where I'm going with that, right?
Yeah, they're not going to make this public. They're gonna try to smoke and mirror the heck out of this, so nobody knows what's going on. And this is the biggest trial of the century.
Shit, yeah. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm not sure you're a lot more resilient than I am. You're a lot more resilient than I am online. I'm not sure if you know this or not. The judge in this case with Elaine Maxwell, however you pronounce her first name, the former president of the former vice president of the United States, Bo Jiden, he federalized that judge. That's now a federal judge. Ooh.
They got to cover this up. They're going to do a full court press to cover this up.
You heard what I said though, right? He federalized that judge. Okay. Yep. Maybe it's because, you know, of his son, perhaps. Ooh, maybe that has something to do with that.
And
Captain Laptop.
I mean, look at all the people that Epstein was involved with. I mean, there's photo documentation of it.
I was watching earlier today. I was watching. It was you're familiar with Crowder, right? Steven Crowder.
Yep.
Okay. On the Rumble, he does Crowder bits, right? It's like a little. Okay. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. They made comedy out of it. They made satire out of it. So he stopped talking about the list, and then he's like goes on for like 10 seconds, and then the studio people in the background are like, oh wait, there's a couple more, and then he keeps going on the list, and then he stops, and they're like, oh wait, there's a few more. It kept going on and on. Sony Records, all these executive people, whether it's they're in the entertainment industry or big business, there's a lot of people that are going to get fucking thrown under the bus. But I don't think it's going to happen.
No, it's going to get covered. Right now, the judge came out and said it's too much for people.
It's too heavy. Yeah.
And here's the thing. It's like executions. They used to be public. That's a deterrent, guys. Now they don't want to show you any of this stuff. It should be public, and this trial should be public.
This trial should be 1,000% public, because I mean, look at this poor kid Kyle Rittenhouse and all the shit he went through, and God bless him if he sues them. Excuse my language, because I don't care if I lose subscribers over this or if YouTube smacks me across the booty. I hope he motherfucking sues the shit out of MSNBC, CNN, and anybody that and including the former vice president of the United States, Beau Biden, sues the living shit out of all these people for defamation, because they called him guilty for a year before he was 100,000% acquitted.
Now, we'll see here in the U.S. It seems to me everything changed. Now it seems you're guilty until proven innocent.
It is. Yep. And then
same way with the road pirates. I mean, you're guilty as soon as they stop you. And even when they always try to ask you, the passengers, for their information that they don't have to give.
Right.
They're fishing. They're on a fishing expedition, especially when they run the dogs around the car. Okay. I can get a dog to alert on any damn thing I want him to. Yeah. And that gives them the right to search your car. Why would you stop somebody for a traffic thing just to bring a dog? I'm going to bring a dog out. You got to wait here. I'm going to bring a dog out. They're fishing.
Well, see, this is where like, okay, we can agree to kind of like a little bit disagree on certain things, because I am pro law enforcement if the cops are doing their jobs right. I've seen corrupt cops. Here's
the thing. Here's something you got to look at. There's this thin blue line. And what happens is you may get somebody that's overstepping his bounds, and the other ones that come around stand there and let him. They're enablers. And that's where there's few. I think there's few, not in the country, but in the big city.
In the big cities, yeah.
When I had my gun shop, I knew lots of the local cops, and they didn't even like the state police. Because those guys were corrupt. And
that's the same thing. Yeah,
I went home with them. We went fishing together. Good dudes.
Yeah, like when I was in New Hampshire, when I was on the northeast coast, north of Massachusetts, like New Hampshire, the state of Maine, all the cops were cool as shit. They like when I was working at the Opera House, they had this one thing. It was like they were parading around all the canines, all the police canines, but you get to know the cops, and they're just doing their jobs. But however, if you get pulled over by a state trooper, you're gonna get a fucking ticket. Okay,
they're gonna fish and find something.
Right. Now, I've been fortunate enough, my whole entire life to never have any like traffic infractions or I don't do drugs, but I don't have a criminal history, but as far as California goes, okay, back in 2010, okay, this is back when the cops and the sheriffs started to behaving themselves. it was Thanksgiving. Yeah, it was Thanksgiving, and I was giving Karina a ride to work. She had to work Thanksgiving. I was off, and it was me and my buddy Phil, the truck driver. So he's in the passenger seat. I'm driving. Got the Filipina in the back seat, and I wasn't familiar with the area on the freeway, and there was no cars, but there's the exit. So I went, whipped off, and I got pulled over by a sheriff. Right. So the sheriff goes, pulls me over, comes over, goes, why I pulled you over? I was like, yeah, I think I did an unsafe lane change. I didn't see behind me, and there was not a lot of cars. And he took my information, license, registration, insurance. Went back there for like 10 minutes, right? Because they got to run all your shit. Came back, and before he handed me back all my paperwork, he goes, if you were me, what would you do in this situation?
I'd let me go.
I told him, I says, I would, I didn't say like, let me go. I was like, I was very frank with him. I was like, yeah, you asked me why you pulled me over. I told you, yeah, I did an unsafe lane change. We're cool. I'm just trying to get my girl to work here. She's going to be late now. And he looked down at the paperwork, looked at me, handed the paperwork back, says, do you know how to get back onto the freeway? And that was it. No ticket, no warning, no. Don't do that again. Because, when you're real with people, most people, I was real with the dude, and all that was waste of his time and my time. We weren't suspect of anything. I made an unsafe lane change, but that was a real person, and he was doing his job as, a traffic enforcement officer or law enforcement, whatever. But then again, I've been in situations where like back when I was 22 years old, I was walking home from a nightclub when I lived in West Hollywood. Okay. By myself. I got stopped and frisked. I was drunk walking back to my little apartment, whatever, just being a young dude walking home, stop and frisk. No questions. These cops jumped out of the car, fucking patted me down and then pushed me and said, go home. That was back when LAPD was corrupt. But yeah, either way, I mean, times are changing. Cops, I mean, we have I think like when I was up in New England, the cops were cool, They're out there, they're looking for trouble, of course. But as long as you're carrying yourself properly and you're not doing anything wrong, as far as that's why laws are made to obey, or some laws are made to be broken. Like some traffic laws. I will make a U-turn if there's no fucking cops around. If there says no U-turn, absolutely. Rules were made to be broken.
I was out at about 3 a.m. one time. I knew the cop sat in this certain area, but the light was red.
Mm-hmm.
I looked both ways and I went through the light. And of course, cop pulled out of the parking lot, stopped me. Now this was a good interaction. And I said, hey, come on. I said, come on, pal. There's nobody here. There's no other cars on the road. It was a well-lit street, street lights all over. Nobody was coming. I said, I just take them as a stop sign at night. Why should I have to sit here?
Sure. Yeah.
And he was like, cool, and he let me go.
Yeah. Cause that's just being, it's like this. Okay. Cops breathe the same air. They have the same color blood, just like celebrities do. Like when I moved to LA and Hollywood, you think like a lot of, oh, the streets are just swarmed with celebrities and star-stricken. They're all, and I've met, I don't have to be humble with saying this because it's just reality. I've met my share of celebrities. Okay. Anybody from freaking Eddie Van Halen to Stevie Wonder to freaking actors and, whatever. They're all normal people, So even cops, they're normal people. They go home after they have to clock out. When they're done with their shift, they got to clock out and they got to be normal people. But some people in authority, even aside from cops, like management and stuff like that, like let's say retail management or any employment, some people get an extended sense of authority and they think that they're like, oh, I have this position where I'm above everybody. That's not the cop I want to deal with. But in reality, at the end of the day, they have to, they got to take off their badge. They got to clock out. They got to go home and be normal people and not have that cop mentality. I've dealt with, stupid cops, and I've dealt with pretty fucking cool cops, but at the end of the day, we're all human, we're all human. And, I have family that is in law enforcement. And how do I say this? They're not watching, but some of them have that cop mentality outside of work, if you know what I mean.
They want to have authority over everybody.
Meaning like, okay, let's say there's family gathering and, whether it's Thanksgiving or whatever. It didn't happen this year, because obviously I'm in California, but, there's always that, like, I've been doing this for so many years and I'm used to dealing. See, when you're a cop, you're dealing with fucking problems all day. Okay. That's what you're dealing with. That's why you're policing, so after a while, some people get jaded with it. So you take that, some people take it to heart and then they take it home with them, so when they're off the clock, they're not dealing with a bunch of assholes all day, whether it's a DUI or a drug bust or domestic violence or whatever, they take that home with them, and then they subconsciously feel that they have that authority when actually, you know what, you don't. And I've had to tell, a family member or two about that. It's like, you know what, you're not on the clock, man. We're here freaking hanging out, and you can't be doing that. Otherwise, I'm gonna split. Next thing you know,
you gotta excuse me for a minute.
Yep, I got a pee too. Oh shit, I'm left here all alone. All right, folks, we got 4 people in here. Let me try and get on here to. Okay, we got John. I found it cool to actually hear my name on YouTube from Sean or Rick. Yeah, Jonathan. It's always gratifying to. Hey, what's up, Junior? You just don't make sure your dad knows you're on the camera. What's up, buddy? You got big hands like your dad. Let me try and get this on here. Hold on a second here. Oh my gosh. Hold on. I gotta find backup Bert. Backup Bert here. Backup Bert. Okay, hold on a second. Can you guys hear me? Hey, little rickshaws, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Oh, I'm peeing. Hey, can you kids hear me?
In a bit. Hang on.
Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I'm back. That
Can you hear me?
coffee runs. Yeah, coffee runs right through me.
But let me ask you this: can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I'm on backup Bert channel right now.
Cool.
Backup. Yeah, because I had to like the chilada ran right through me, so I had to. Oh, those are good though. You can get pretty much the same type of libations out there in the Philippines, right?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's really low now.
Oh shit!
Hey,
How about now? No.
That's my little buddy.
Hi, buddy.
Can you make me coffee? Here.
We're doing pretty good. Can you hear me at all?
Barely.
This is just, hold on. Let me see what I can do here. Hold on a second. Cam, mic, audio. How about that?
Yeah, I can hear you somewhat. It's kind of noisy here with the dogs barking. It's pretty windy here. And it's not real warm today. It's a pretty cool day. There's our neighbor's house is going up. Actually, this little space in between there, that's going to be another house. You know, we're going to be like townhouses here almost. Lost you, buddy.
Well, that didn't work out too well, did it? For me. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to go remote with backup Bert, but the audio. Maybe it's because like doing two. Oh no. Did we lose him? Did this live stream get munched at 2 hours in? Oh no. Sorry, everybody. It was fun. Shit. We lost Rickshaw. He's going to have to chime back in. Oh, there he is. What happened, buddy?
Just my phone kicked out for some reason.
Yeah, what I was trying to do, I was trying to take this phone outside. But I guess like if I go on it, the audio don't work that well, or You there?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I tried to go outside with the phone because I want to smoke. So I guess I'm going to smoke outside the window. Please don't tell my mom. I live in the basement with my mom. This is fun, buddy. You having fun?
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah, you know what's cool is what let me switch. Let's try this with this Yeti, and let me switch the polar patterns here. We'll try that one. Okay, that's because I'm going to step away from the mic. Okay, we'll try that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. I think that one's that. Oh, hold on. That one, that one, that one. Okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, so now I could step away from the microphone, and it's omnidirectional. So I'm behind the microphone, and you can kind of still hear me the same. You know what's funny when he went upstairs to do your business? Those kids were like waving their hands in front of the camera and chiming in. I was like, "Can you hear me?" And they wouldn't respond.
Well, it's not really loud. I got the phone up to full volume, and it's just not loud enough. This phone.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. You know, these are like first world problems. You know, but you know, this is really cool, buddy. You know, we're engaged in a conversation. We got, you know, how many people do we got in here? I'm gonna let me go back onto the excuse me. At least I can do this right. We got 4 people in here right now. Oh, we got a new one, AmeriPhil French. I guess you know Scott, expat in the Philippines. We got Jonathan Pervet. Light that cigarette, and we can hear better. Okay. Yeah, people are engaging, brother. So what time is there? It's 5, 6. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Have you guys made breakfast yet?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
we're early birds.
Oh, right on. So what time do you guys use? What time do y'all usually wake up in the morning there?
I'm usually up and at it around 4.
Wow. Wow, that's cool. You know what's cool is I got this. You can't see me on camera because that's on the stupid laptop. But I got the microphone in the window. I was thinking about earlier. I was thinking about before we did this thing. I was. Oh shit! What I do? I was thinking about taking this whole thing outside, but I got too caught up with the foo-foo lights and the I'm a professional YouTuber and I'm going to have all these LED lights and all this stupid crap, you know. But yeah, so yeah, Jeffrey Epstein definitely Jeffrey Epstein definitely he killed himself. Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, it's something. This is going to be the biggest cover up of the century. This has got to be kicked under because there's just too many people involved. You got all the Holly weirdos and heads of state. I mean, this is big, and they're going to do everything in their power to cover this up.
Yep, and it all started with that judge being federalized by you know who.
Well, that's so that they could have sway over him.
Yeah.
and he'll what people don't get, they're not going to bribe him. If he doesn't do what they say, they will end him.
Exactly.
It's just how they do things. You look at the Clintons. In my lifetime, I've known 2 people that committed suicide, and I knew I had two neighbors actually, who committed suicide who I didn't know personally. They know hundreds of people, close associates and friends, that killed themselves. Started off with Vince Foster, and then all the stuff with Mena, Arkansas, when they were running dope and stuff.
Right.
This has been going on for as long as I can remember with these people, and it's what they do. This is just how they conduct business. It's kind of like the mafia. It's only business.
100,000% accurate you are.
Yeah, it's horrible how they do things, but you're gonna have crime. Until the good Lord takes over, there's gonna be terrible crime against people.
Oh my God.
The thing that really gets me is how they, all this stuff they're doing with the little kids. You look how many people just in the United States, they say there's 800,000 kids go missing a year.
Yeah.
Come on. And they just never find them. And you see some of these things that, where with this adrenochrome and all that stuff, can this stuff happen? Yeah. I'll bet.
It's horrible. It's horrible. Like what I read a little bit about, I didn't read too much about it, like on this Jeffrey Epstein's like little island he had there, whatever. They had video surveillance, and they didn't tell these people.
They were blackmailing them.
Exactly. And that's why it turned into now it's this big conundrum. And you know what really sucks is in the end, nothing is going to be done about anything.
Well, they set up a thing in the sea. Thank you, buddy. They set up a thing in the sea where they were making their own passports and all kinds of stuff like that, so they can get away from the laws. Now this Maxwell chick wants the UN to get her out. But I personally think if she gets out,
one way or another, that'll be the last you ever hear of her.
Right.
She'll be Epstein.
Let me fix this down. Now it's better. Yeah, absolutely. Because, like right now, okay. Oh, they on the media, the only media coverage you're going to give is, oh, she's complaining about, oh, she's being fed rotten food and mistreatment in prison. No, you are in a high profile situation. Okay. That's all propaganda. It's all fake fucking news.
I can understand where she's coming from because she's not getting caviar and shrimp.
Exactly. Oh, poor her.
So that's why she's probably complaining about that.
Poor human trafficker. Jonathan Prevet says, beautiful kids of Rickshaw. I plan to have a few more. Let's see. Maria French. I guess she's friends with Scott, expat in the Philippines. Everyone's kind of chiming in. We got a steady amount of people here that are engaging. But yeah, it's all, the sad thing about it, Rick, is there's nothing we can do about it. All we can do is sit back and watch all this stuff play out.
Keep putting it out there. I keep putting news out. I keep telling everybody, look to this right now. Everything else is just like a cover up. Look at this. Hey, look what we got here.
Uh-oh. Boone Soul. What's up, homie? Oh my gosh. How many pairs of glasses? You got a pair of glasses for all the kids?
Yep.
Nice. You guys do you guys ever all go out in public all wearing them?
I usually, when I'm out, I don't wear glasses.
Oh, okay.
I
thought I was the only one that actually got to see your real eyeballs. Don't expose them now.
I get, like, when we ride the bike, we have safety glasses we all wear when we're riding the bike. But out on the road, I don't usually wear sunglasses or anything. I do wear my regular prescription glasses when I drive.
Right.
At nighttime. During the day, I don't need them, but nighttime I have to wear them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a product of Agent Orange, so we all know how this eye works. Over here. It sucks. My dad's a Vietnam vet. Unfortunately, fortunately he's not watching, because right now I can tell you right now he's a hardcore friggin' Democrat. There's no change in his mindset. But yeah, he tried, getting some sort of compensation back in the day about that. Never happened. Never happened, And he joined the military, he back in the, way back in the day, he faked his paperwork and joined the military, at 17 years old, that type of thing that happened. And, him and my mom gave birth to, like my brother Billy died from cancer, hence we can go back to the marijuana subject briefly. My brother Billy, he ended up getting non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He passed away in 1989. He was 20 years old. But yeah, they gave him, this is back in 1989. They gave him Marinol, which are prescription pills, which are weed pills pretty much, and I was so young back then, but that's, I think he got that cancer from the Agent Orange, and I know, and my younger sister, who's a vet tech, and she's in Riverside, California. She has the same lazy eye, right? But her children, she has 3 kids, they don't have that problem. So I guess it only goes through one generation. I've never given birth to kids. I'm not a father or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure that if I had kids, they wouldn't have the effed up eye that I do, and it sucked. It's the government, there's no.
I think a lot of this, the pharmaceutical industry gives, basically they're giving you poison, and
right.
A lot of the doctors, they why would they cure you? They'll lose money, so they keep you on the edge of sickness as long as they can.
Sure.
I don't buy it. I know personally somebody who treats cancer patients. Was kicked out of the medical community, and then just takes care of them at their home. If they listen to her, and they change their diet and all this stuff.
Right.
Cancer, they say they can cure 15% of the people, and after 5 years, even if it comes back, they don't count those as getting it again, because they say 5 years is good for that. But this lady's got about an 85% turnaround rate because she changes their diet, cuts out all the sugar, gets them eating fresh vegetables. Let the food be your cure.
Right.
What is the doctor going to do? He's basically giving you poison. He's going to give you some sort of a poison to try to cure a symptom. They don't really look at what's going on. They don't want to fix that. They'll lose money.
Yeah. It's like, okay, they can come up with this vaccinations, and now there's all these different variants, right? And they come up with it, so quickly, but yet they can't find a cure for cancer. Oh, if they found a cure for cancer, think about how many doctors would lose their jobs.
It's big money. Why is chemo so expensive? They came out with chemo stuff 100 years ago. Most of the drugs they use for that, and they're still using them. They're not doing it. They're not really looking into it because they got you. Everybody thinks they got to have chemo. Hey, okay, here you go. You got cancer, so we're going to give you a deadly poison. All your hair is going to fall out. You're going to be sick as a dog. But don't worry. We've been doing this for a while. We know what we're doing. I ain't buying it.
And the sad thing is that they're like, literally, there's nothing that you and I as individuals can do about it. We could put the points out there, and in any other place, for the most part, aside from Facebook, which they've already smashed you on that, YouTube. But the only way you can get your point across is on Telegram, and not a lot of people it's growing. The Telegram is growing, but for how long? Before they put the kibosh on that.
Well, we'll see. It's you can put pretty much anything out there now. They don't seem to bug you. I hope it stays that way. People are starting to actually find me now. Some still can't. I got one guy, he's on there, but he's trying to get his sweetheart on there too, and can't seem to get it on there. I can't find her. They got to leave a message. That way I put them in in like my contacts, and then I go ahead and then I put them on the group that I have. It's called New Everybody. And I put them in there. Yeah. And I put a ton of information on there. Yes, I kind of do it like one of the guys says, I go through it so you don't have to. I'm not trying to really censor the news, but there's a lot of stuff like with this Q thing and all this stuff of Trump coming back, and it's going to happen now, and they're going to take all these people to get Bo, and they're all going to be swinging from a rope. I don't go through that. I'm not buying it. I'm actually sick of it, so I don't put a lot of that stuff on there. I put medical news that I see, and things that look real to me.
Right. See, a lot of it is like like this thing called propaganda. It's like they could these news networks, like, okay, let's say MSNBC, CNN, including Fox, and I watch all three. They fluff things up and they pull the wool over your eyes, and it's like, oh, this person's going down. This person's going down. Nobody's going down. Either whatever side of the fence you're on, whether you're on the left or the right, none of these people are going down for nothing. Because all politicians on both sides, that they're all dirty or corrupt in one form or another. They all are.
You see, they were supposed to, get in and get out. But these people make a career of it, 30, 40, 50 years.
Or like Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, and you look at them, they're all billionaires. If you look at the population of the United States, it's less than 1% are millionaires. But if you go to Congress where there's 535 people, 5% of them are multimillionaires. Okay.
Yep. What,
And-
after making $170,000 a year?
Yeah, they really know how to manage their money. But here's the thing: they're not covered
Must
under
be
the
nice.
same. They're not covered under the same laws as we are. They don't have the same health care. So what do they care? And even Social Security, what do they care what happens with that? They say it's a big trust fund. And they steal all the money. It's a direct transfer. It's all a bunch of crap. They get away with murder. Did you know also that they can't ever be hit for any sexual assault charges? They voted that in. When did you ever hear of you ever going to your boss and voting yourself in a pay raise? Doesn't happen. Just doesn't happen. I personally think as soon as you get into public life, you have to turn over all your tax records, everything you have, and open it up to the IRS. Everything.
Yeah, that's not
where are
going to
these-
happen for nobody.
Where are these people getting this? Look at Biden. He was just up at one of his places. It was a $20 million place. Where did he get the money on that salary? What kind of insider trading were they doing? What kind of kickbacks are they getting? You look at the first bill. I was pissed off at Trump when he signed that couple $1 trillion bill up to $6 trillion for all this money and throwing a few crumbs to the people. That money went out, and a bunch of it came right back. It's all a fiat currency.
Exactly.
And they're all enriched. That's why they're all going to vote for it. And I don't personally believe anymore that it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. They're all in on it, because when a crucial vote comes in, there's always a turncoat, a Republican. But they're two wings of the same bird. They get in there and they pretty much. Yeah, they gotta toe the line, or they're going to be out.
Wow, there's
a few of them.
State.
Yeah, I like old Rand Paul. There's a few of them, but they get in this and they're not going to get out. They're going to stay in there, and they're all getting kickbacks from something. Look at their bank accounts. Look at Pelosi. Let them eat ice cream. She's our Marie Antoinette.
Right.
Just
I'm
crazy.
I'm reading this at the same time, reading the comment thread.
Yeah, half the time you see her, she's drunk out of her mind. She can't even talk anymore.
Who, Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that chick's more of a drunk than I am. Shit. Oh my God. You can't hide it. But alcohol is legal, and these people are above the law. They do the most shit. Back when, as far as like dramatization of things go, back when, they were on this relentless thing for impeaching Donald Trump. How many times he got impeached? But 3 times? 2-3 times?
He never got impeached, ever.
What? But the attempt to do it, they, with the movie cameras, in DC, and they're walking across the sacred place doing their thing. It was like a fucking funeral march, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, he's gonna be gone." He was never gone. He was, somebody else was, and you know who I'm talking about, was inserted, meaning Bo Jiden. They made this big friggin' deal about it. But they're all above the law. They can make all the drama. They can make all the movie stuff they want about it. That's another thing that makes me sick, and I'll get to that in a minute, is, okay, they make this whole thing. You're walking across sacred land, doing this thing with a group of people and holding these paperwork like this and walking through, and the cameras catch it. It's like, it's well planned out, and you can look at it like, wow, this is really going to happen. But does it happen? No, because it all turns into nothing. And okay, let's move on to the next subject. And what, we're a year into this new presidency, and they're still trying to go after Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, you look at a lot of things that get covered up. Look at whatever happened to Wiener's laptop. Whatever happened to Little Joe's laptop. They got these things. It's all getting covered up by, the news media jumped on the Rittenhouse thing. They're trying, Jackson and all the minions are getting in there trying to start trouble again so that you look this way. The magician gets you with diversion. While you're looking at this hand, the other hand's the one doing the deed. And
hey, look, a fish.
Yeah, this is what these guys do. They're masters at diversion. They're going to keep this up. Mainstream media is in the bag. And you just look at their advertisers. Even Fox. When I really got ticked off was when they called the election in Arizona way early, way early. And then all you have to do is go look at who their advertisers are. One of their big advertisers is the Star Trek phaser. So
Yeah.
you're gonna take care of the hand that feeds you.
Oh, dude, it's borderline overwhelming,
But something you were mentioning about Pelosi, and a lot of times she's drunk out of her gourd. And you said it was legal, but here's the thing: it is legal. But if I would show up on the job as a foreman, running a crew, drunk,
get sent home. You get sent home.
No, I would be fired and probably blackballed.
Yeah.
Never to have another foremanship again.
Yeah. But
that's just how it goes.
Now, let me ask you this: like in reality, I mean, it's like, okay, she might, maybe let's just say, I'm gonna smoke again. I'm turning the mic around this way. Let's just say that, we've never seen her drinking. Maybe it's her age. Maybe it's because she's 90 years old. Maybe I don't think Joe Biden's a drunk.
When do these guys?
But he's very incoherent.
To me, it's when do these guys ever get enough? When do they just say, you know what, I'm going to go home, play with my grandchildren. I'm done here. I did what I could for right or wrong, and just go. But they can't, see, because it's an authority thing. They want to lord over people.
Yeah.
And then they become royalty. Basically, they're like these people. They think they're royalty, and they're going to tell you what to do because they know better than you. That's not freedom, my friend.
It isn't. I 100% agree with you. It's like, on the non-political thing, it's like, I used to work for a guy. He hired me. This is back in 1997. I was spearheaded out of a music store called Guitar Center. Okay. And I didn't know anything about recording engineering, like professional recording, but he hired me to work in his studio. I didn't know anything. Okay. And the people that worked there taught me how to properly record music, whether it's vocals or instrumentation and stuff like that. I didn't have to go to college to learn how to do it. I was actually being paid to learn how to do this stuff. But the guy that owned the company was the gentleman that created the prepaid calling card. Okay, you remember the prepaid calling card? I'm sure they still have them in the Philippines.
Yep.
He invented that. A black man from England, with heavy English accent. But he was so rich, the principle of his money never goes away. Okay, he has since passed away. He passed away a couple of years ago. And I could throw his name out there. His name was Richard Tucker. You can go ahead and look that up on Google. You cannot find him. You could say, who invented the prepaid calling card? It will not say Richard Tucker. That's how deep this dude was. But money makes people sick. Mentally sick. This guy was a fucking weirdo. A Hollywood weirdo. I didn't let him influence me on anything weird like that. But that guy was a weirdo. He would and it was nice. I was 22 years old at the time, maybe 23. And what he would do with the employees at the studio is every Friday, let's say I'm in my studio. Let's pretend this is a studio. What it kind of is. We got our Christmas tree here and stuff. He would put his hand on my shoulder like this. I have my own, I have my own studio, my own programming room, do my thing. And he'd do that. I wasn't the only one. He put his hand on my shoulder on Friday like this, but this way, and there'd be $100 bill every Friday. The first couple times I was like, I can't accept this. What are you doing? And then I started talking with other people that work at the studio. It's like, they're like, oh, that's just what he does. Just thank him, and I got used to it, so I got $100 bonus every Friday back in 1990, 1997, 1998. And he said, thank him. So I'd say, oh, thank you, Richard. He would say, don't thank me, thank God. But as soon as that studio went out of business because money makes people weird, he was building without contracts, without, OSHA shit. Like the weight of the building was starting to gain on. He had the top floor, and there was like an answering service, like a call center on the floor below, and it started encroaching on it. And then they called the city, and the city was like, "Oh, hey, you don't have building permits." So he shut down the studio. We never saw that guy again. I got a residual pay and stuff like that, and then he just dropped off the face of the earth because money does things to people. This guy was a millionaire. He had like 316, what are they called? V16 Mercedes Benz, but he'd buy a fresh pair of socks every day or have his runner go. It was just disgusting. Like being involved in a company where the owner doesn't, the concept of money wasn't there because it was a bottomless pit, But when shit hit the fan, and the city got on him and stuff like that, that dude went into hiding and he ended up passing away. I don't know how he passed away, but he might still be alive somewhere, but he is gone off the face of the earth. You don't know who he is. And that's some real Hollywood Epstein fucking weird shit that I witnessed.
Kind of a death becomes her thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was the strangest thing, because, but in the end, I could say a lot, because, he didn't necessarily take me under his wing. He brought me into his compound, and I learned a lot from it. And I still have solid connections with some of these people, that have their names on some major, records, and records mean like music stuff. And I still, talk to some of these people here and there, and that's a cool thing. But it's like we always talk about like what happened to Richard. He built people's dreams, but then when it was over, it's like a fart in the wind. He was gone.
Well, you know something I've noticed. Money just makes you more of what you already are. I did know a fella. A bunch of us knew him, and we all knew him to be a real jerk. Just a jerk.
Right.
Then he hits the lottery for a huge amount of money, and guess what? He became a bigger jerk. End of story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Like money. I mean, I've never been rich, obviously. I mean, personally, where I'm at in life. But there's been times it's like you spend what you make. If I was making $8,000 a month, I'm spending $8,000 a month. But if you're living that lifestyle, if I were making that much money in a different trade, if it weren't in the entertainment industry, I would probably manage my finances in a better way. If that makes sense to you. It's just strange, and I mean, and now look at it with shit. Like in early 2000s or up into 2020, when I was in New Hampshire, I was working in show business. I was working in a historical theater, doing, geez, we had band, national acts coming there, Montgomery Gentry, Little River Band, stuff like that. And everything in between, but now I'm working with dogs, and I got a lot to learn. I got shit. Hold on. Look, hold on. You know, I got books, you know, and these things, you know, the fronts are fine, you know, but on the inside, you know, this is you have to know these animals, you know, and all this coincides with computer training, meaning, you know, like online stuff and apps and stuff like that. But I like it. You know, I'm not mixing sound. I miss mixing sound and being creative. You know, the most creative thing I'm doing now is having this stupid $125 mic, which works fine for me, and a stupid ring light and the foo-foo lights in the background. But based on what I've done in the past, I mean, that ain't shit. You know, I'm kind of, you know, it doesn't cost a lot, but, you know, I miss working in that business. But then again, a part of me that makes me not miss it is knowing how dirty the entertainment industry is. It is in all, whether it's movies or music. You know, there's the people on the higher end of things. You know, the people on the top tier. Those are all the sickos, and it kind of trickles downhill. You know, and you know, it's like this. If I were a millionaire, I wouldn't spend $100 on a pair of shoes. I mean, I'll cap it off at $80. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, I'm kind of rambling here, but that's just how it is, man. It's just kind of, the world is a sick place, and we're all stuck in it. You know, until we eventually pass away from whatever, you know, and hopefully there's a better place we can go to when we pass away if we've lived decent lives. You know, and it's sad to have to say it like that, you know, but it is what it is, brother. It really is, you know. But shit, we've been talking for quite some time. What's going on here in the chat? Let's see. Scott, Florida doesn't like talking about. Florida's a very red state. Amen for Florida.
Yeah, I lived in Florida for a while, and I really liked it. I liked being there. I was in Fort Lauderdale area. I went down there for a job, and they were building houses that they were pre-made, and they just kept like Legos. They would put you would order how many rooms you want, and they would just situate it on this building. And I was doing all the connections on that, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Right.
And I liked a lot of the folks down there. I actually was renting a place off a millionaire, and it was like a hacienda thing. You had a big courtyard. You went down this little thing, and I had just the one little apartment. It's kind of like a studio thing.
Right.
And got to know him. He was hiring people to fix the plumbing and fix stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take care of it for you. And I fixed a lot of things that were wrong. He was getting these big charges for it, and he said, hey, you want to take care of this stuff, no rent. So I got that, and then also he took me over to his place one day, and he had a parking garage, and he had fancy cars and all that, and he had a Harley Davidson down there, Ultra. And he's like, yeah, you want to take it? Go. And I took that thing down through to the Keys, which I really liked. I liked it down there. He just let me take it. He's like, I don't ride it. I bought it. He was a rich guy. He said, I've never ridden it. He's other than home from the dealership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Remember a while back I was telling you about that car storage place that's down the street from where I'm at?
Mm-hmm.
That they have like Ferraris and Bugattis and all these race cars, right? Like dual tiers, like a car here and then a car on an elevator, but it's like a warehouse. Come to find out, the guy that owns the place, those are all of his cars. This guy's got like This guy's got like 20 something cars, and they're all just, these cars don't have license plates on them.
Something that got me when I was in Florida, the difference between Florida and California. Florida, when I was down there, you saw Lambos, Ferraris daily, 2 or 3 a day.
Oh, yeah.
People were driving them on the highway. California, they got them, but you hardly ever see them. Well, you just don't see them like I did.
Where I'm at right now, it's not really a fancy area. It's more like, there's big pharma, to the left of me, to the right of me. But you do in this general area, like in the Bay Area, the San Francisco area. Yeah, it's a common occurrence to see a Ferrari or any sort of high end vehicle. It's like you see so many of them that it's like it becomes like it's no big deal. It's like, ooh, look at this car. No, sometimes, but yeah, it's saturated. I understand the Florida vibe. Just like if you were to be in Dubai or something like that. But it's like a lifestyle, but then again, it's like, you got to look at, the economy, Silicon Valley out here, there's a lot of people that have a lot of money, not me. And things like that, it's like this, Rick. Okay. Like where I work out with the doggy daycare. Some of these animals that I manage, along with all the other ones, because they're all equals, that's where this paperwork down here comes in, because I'm the boss of these dogs when they're in that room. There's some friggin' expensive dogs. There's some like big, expensive foo-foo fifi animals, but their owners can afford to, put them in their daycare. It's so plastic to me. It's so plastic. If I were a millionaire, I wouldn't own a Bugatti. I wouldn't be driving a Toyota Prius, but I wouldn't own a Bugatti or some sort of super high-end vehicle. I wouldn't own a billionaire's mansion, with 7 swimming pools or whatever. I mean, I would be, if I were wealthy like that, I'd be humble. It's like my buddy. I got a good friend of mine that lives in Massachusetts. He's wealthy. He's a Jewish man, and he's so humble. If he's going to make lunch, he's going to have a tuna fish sandwich and macaroni and cheese. If he's going to go out shopping, he's going to, look for the best prices, not just like pile everything in the cart because he can, because in the end, he's going to have to, he's not spoiled. He doesn't spoil himself. He'll have a couple nice things. He has a Porsche Cayenne. Yeah. But he drives the Honda Civic. He's humble. He doesn't brag about what he has or he keeps things on the down low. And I appreciate people like that. I appreciate people like that. And let's say if I were to win the lottery tomorrow, I would be selective, about everything. And I would be humble about everything. I wouldn't flaunt anything or, go out and buy a bunch of extravagant jewelry. And, I'd spoil myself and I'd spoil Korean a little bit, of course, but I wouldn't take it to the extremity of, I'm going to open up my own personal private parking garage with, my green Lamborghini with 69 painted on the side of it. I wouldn't do that. I don't know. I don't know, man. Hi, honey bunny. She's like, who's that? Oh, we got another one coming in here. What's up, kids? Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my gosh. See, See, that's the stuff that makes me happy, is seeing stuff like that, Rick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
So,
there's right here is what's important, guys. Right here. These guys,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they're the meat and potatoes right there.
That's right. And there's something. Uh-oh, we got another one. Hello, mister.
What's up, buddy? I'm looking at the chat here. Scott, what's up with Scott, expat in the Philippines? Sorry that you could not get the link up. He's in this room. Scott, expat in the Philippines. I don't get it. Mr. Australia, I don't understand. But Scott's cool. Scott and I talk sometimes on the Facebook Messenger. He hasn't managed to get himself kicked off the Facebook Messenger yet. Unlike you, because you're a rebel.
They canned me on Facebook. And you know what I did? I'm not even gonna mess with it. It sucks because here that's the big thing, how, you know, the messaging and all that, but it's gone, and they don't want me there, so I'm not going to darken anyone's doorstep.
Nah, they can kiss my grits, Alice. I mean, like what happened when I made that alternative profile of Huge Humongous. Dude, that thing lasted literally. It lasted like maybe 3 or 4 days. They fucking cooked it. They cooked it. No warning, no nothing, because I purposefully tested the envelope with what I could say, and I said anything and everything that I wanted to. They didn't even give me a warning, Rick. They didn't give me a warning. They just fried that thing. Gone. All gone.
Yeah, it's sad. You know, I remember watching some of this stuff on Notre Dame, and you know how he had to do quatrains, and I thought, oh, how silly is that?
Right.
But guess what? We're living it. We
Yeah.
have to speak in quatrains now. It's the same thing. History repeats itself. You know.
I know.
And the only
I know.
difference is the same people keep repeating it. You know, different people repeat it. I mean.
Yeah, I notice on your walk and talks, you know, you speak in quatrains. On my channel, I don't have enough people that follow me enough. You know, I got less than 200, you know, subscribers, and I really don't touch on things lately, you know, as far as like political stuff, you know, except for, you know, today, because anything goes. But I don't think it's going to catch. I don't think it's going to catch the AI, or I don't think anybody's going to be like, oh, they're going to flag this thing. Oh, this person said, you know, fuck Joe Biden. Excuse my language around the kids. Sorry, or anything like that. So I don't think I'm at risk. But you know, you're a trooper for, you know, for keeping up. You know, you got the Al Gore beaks or the Al Gore rhythms. You know, you got the Burt backup channel. You know, I dig on that, man. I dig on it, but
yeah, last time they cut my channel, they stated that you know, if it's more than 90 days, you kind of go back to zero. Well, the time I got shut off before was a good 8 or 9 months, and they just boom, they hit me and shut me off for 7 days. They didn't give me the 3-day. They didn't stick to their 90-day thing like they said they were. So they basically can do what they want. This platform here, when I get a laptop, I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna go ahead and just you know, we've got everything copied. I'll transfer as much as I can over time to get over to Rumble or one of these other ones. I'm not sure.
Rumble's a good way to go. Yeah.
I've watched some people though switch from here to the new one, and I've watched them over a year, and guess what? Their subscriber count is like nil. This is the big fish in the pond. And I know when Trump was talking about starting his own media thing, I wish it could have been something like this, because I don't do Twitter. I never have. I just I'm not gonna mess with it.
I don't do Twitter either. Nope.
Yeah,
I won't touch it. I won't touch it. And keep your kids away from that TikTok crap.
Yeah, that's all Chinese run there. It's a bunch of baloney I see on there. I don't go for a lot of that. This is pretty good, but it's a shame that you have to, you know, mind your P's and Q's, because if you do any kind of think speech, they take you off. And there's a lot of people that have been removed that I watched, tons of them.
But here's here's one real quick. How long have we been on here? We've been on here for almost 3 hours. This is awesome, and people are still on here. Okay, salty cracker. You familiar with the salty cracker? Yeah. Oh my God, he's got his science down, bro. What he does is on the YouTube, which we're on right now. What he does. Okay, he'll post videos that are going to stay on YouTube, but when he does his live streams, okay, there's no, dude, this guy is off the hook, off the chain, full Monty, balls deep. He'll say whatever the hell he wants on the YouTube, right? And then during the live stream, he switches it over to Rumble, right? Now, Rumble's not going to delete any of his stuff. So he gets all of his, and these are solid. The engagement, you know how that works with the algorithms, right? The engagement is 100%. If you watch, this guy could do a live stream. I'll watch that thing from beginning to end because it's just so engaging. Because this guy is so friggin' on point. He used to be a school teacher, you know, and he got his switch turned on. It's like, what the hell's going on here? And he says whatever the hell he wants. So what he does is when he does his live streams on YouTube, he'll do that and then switch it over to Rumble, like I just said. You know, like he'll do like an hour, maybe an hour and a half on YouTube, and then switch it over to Rumble. Like, come on over here, guys, and then delete the YouTube, delete that YouTube live stream. So while he's on the YouTube live stream, the way he makes the money on the YouTube, the same way he makes it on the Rumble, is through that super chat. So people are honestly donating to him. He's not getting money from YouTube and then YouTube takes a cut and stuff like that. He's speaking his point and people actually dig on what he's saying, you know, and he gets a little out there sometimes, but still, you know, his content is like 100% engagement. You know, whoever's watching this stuff, they're not going to watch like 30 seconds like, oh, this guy's boring. They're going to be like, oh my God, what's this guy doing? He's talking and talking. And all his points are 150% valid, you know, and you can't deny it, but he's made an art out of it to be able to capitalize from YouTube and then switch it over to Rumble and to continue over there because you know they're not gonna mess with you. But yeah, he's working YouTube to where his YouTube channel is 100,000% demonetized. You know, there's no ads before his stuff or anything like that. No.
Well, you know something. There's ads on mine. They're starting to show up for a lot of people.
I've seen them on a couple. Yeah, a couple.
Yeah. Now what happens with them though? When I first started this, I had a friend help me set everything up, and we did all that AdSense stuff. It won't let me do that. Now, if YouTube wanted to send me some money, yeah, sure, I would take it. I don't take any donations or anything like that, but it won't allow me to do it. It won't allow me to put any kind of an account in to take this money. Now, Tropical Tim hooked me up with this one site that tells you how much money you got in there, and there's money in there from these ads, but I can't get to it.
Yeah, because YouTube doesn't have YouTube doesn't have a 1-800 number to call and be like, "Hey, customer service YouTube, how may I help you?" It don't work like that. You know, that's weird. You know, because they're making money off you. But you got what 3,000 plus subscribers, right?
And you want to know something though? When I went into looked into this real good with the subscribers, they're definitely keeping the subscriber count low. You know, different times we've had a bunch of people join, groups of people at a time,
right?
And my count goes down. It doesn't go up; it goes down. They won't let me get over 3,200. Something happens where, you know, and a lot of people are being unsubbed. You look at the comments in there. There's a lot of folks that, you know, my feeds don't come up, and they get all of a sudden they're not subbed to me anymore, and they go back in and got to resub. So they're kicking them off now. whether it's on purpose or it's a glitch, who knows? You know,
I think honestly, I think it could be. I mean, it could be a glitch because
Yeah,
you know,
probably.
it's like it's like this. Like with my channel, you know, shit, I have 191 subscribers. You know, the numbers they drop off and then they come back and then they go like this. You know, but I don't put too much mental. I don't really think about it too much, you know, because, you know, like my main, it's not like a goal. It's not a goal, but, you know, I'm at well, let me see here. Let me go to my stupid YouTube channel here. Videos. Oh my gosh. I gained 1 subscriber. Now I'm at 192 subscribers. Tomorrow I could be back at 184.
Yeah.
You know?
I know that's how it works.
But what I honestly, like the last live stream I did where it got all munched up, you know, and I ended up deleting that video because, you know, for obvious reasons. I lost like 4 subscribers, you know, and I can pretty much guarantee almost that none of these people, unless they're like trolling in the background, and they click off on their own thing, you know, and they, you know, I don't want to do YouTube chats, you know, or live streams where, you know, let's talk about we're all a group of content creators and let's talk about how to make our channel grow with each other with all 5 of us watching. And I don't know which direction my channel is going, but I'm, you know, I spent thousands of dollars on this much gear to promote my channel and it's not getting me anywhere, but I still want to talk about it even though I don't know which direction my channel is going. I'm not into that type of bullshit. I'm not into that kind of bullshit. You know, like, okay, I happen to found a niche, whatever the hell you want to call it, with the way that my YouTube channel is going. But you know, I enjoy doing the dog vlogs. You know.
Here, I'll show you when it comes to gear. You were talking about your microphone and stuff.
Yep.
Show you some of my gear. One of the things I got early on, and this is from a YouTuber. I got this puppy.
What's that?
Sony. That's the Sony cam I use to do all my videos.
Oh, okay.
And I got this just a cheap little stick from the store. Screws into the bottom.
Right on. So you're shooting at 4K with that? Yeah.
Yeah, it does never upload to that. But
yeah, it uploads like 1080, right?
Yeah, 1080p. And then
so that's the one you're doing your walk and talks with, right?
Yeah, and then I got these little, you know, I got my little fuzzy muff there.
Yep.
These things. This one was the most expensive. It was like $8.
$8.
Yep. This one, the one I use all the time. This
How do you get a
mic right here?
How do you get a mic?
This was like this one was $2.
How do you get them so cheap?
Lazada. I've got a bunch of them. You know, I ordered when I got a bunch that go work in the phone because they got these. This one here that I use, I have to have the 2 little lines on it for this camera.
Yeah, that's an 1/8-inch balanced cable. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a stereo. That's a stereo jack. Yep.
Yeah, and now the one that goes in the phone, you got to have the one with 3 on there.
Not necessarily.
Well, for my phone, the 2 won't work. If I put the one with 2 on there, it doesn't work. I get no sound at all. And same thing if I put the one with 3 in here, doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
I cut the hole in the back so that I could put the mic in. I drilled the hole so it fits real tight. I don't want to ride around in the rain with this. Right now, it's the only one I got. It also comes with Sony, though. It's a pain in the butt. I also got this little Gizzy. You could see whatever the camera sees, whether it's recording or not.
Oh, okay, cool.
So but it's good for turning it on and off. But they want you to go into settings to set everything, and then when I go to do it, it never comes out of its twirly thinking mode. It's just ridiculous.
Right.
And I can't seem to get that fixed. Every time I turn it on now, since I tried to set it, it's in thinking mode.
Mhm.
and then it wants to work slowly. If I push record, it doesn't come on for a few seconds, and so I
Mm.
haven't really been using it. I'd like to get an extra camera, a backup one.
I hate to
But
say it. I mean, I'm an amateur at this, but okay. How do I want to say it the right way? Okay, okay. Let's say the dog vlog videos that I do. That you've watched a couple of them, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
So the camera quality is good, and the edit transitions are basic. Literally, like when like say Korean and I go out, for lunch or something, and we vlog it, whatever. Those videos are done, edited, and posted to YouTube by the time we get back home, because it's so easy. If you can get one of these, if you can get it like a 12 Pro or a 13 Pro Max, man.
Well, the thing when I first was doing vlogs, and I was using the phone, okay, and it's all on data here. I never published them because it was shaking so bad.
Right.
And then that's when I watched the British biker, and I watched a bunch of videos, and they'll tell you what kind of camera they're using and stuff like that. And that's why I went with this Sony, because of the mechanical anti-shake.
The thing is, Rick, with the 12 Pro Max, okay, I'm going to take it out of the case. This case is beat up because I use this phone so freaking much. With this phone here, brother, okay, it has motion stabilization. So I could literally be filming like this and be like, oh, I've tried it. I've auditioned it. I've done that. And it stabilizes it. So everything's smooth. And it's
digital stabilization. The best one I've seen for being really stable on walkie-talkies is Tropical Tim, because he's got that gimbal.
Oh, the gimbal! The gimbal's going to straighten it up for you right away. Yeah,
that thing is that's just wizardry. That thing is just too cool. He brought it here with him, and he's got good stable shots. Now that if I'd have known about something like that when I started this, that they were that good, I might have went that route. But I'll be honest, I like this camera because I can put it on my helmet if I'm riding a motorcycle. I wanted to do.
It's stable. I don't see no shakies when it's got stabilization, but
yeah, it's nice on the helmet when I do these like rides and stuff I take, like when I went out with Wes.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yep.
And with a phone, how am I really going to do that well with the phone?
Yeah, you got that right.
Mount it on the handlebar, you're getting all the shaking to it. There was one moto vlogger, his Sony Cam, the stabilization burned out because he was mounting it on the handlebar. He had one facing forward and one facing back to him, and he had to replace it. They couldn't, for some reason, they couldn't repair it. So I like it on my body because I'm a big shock absorber. When it's on the helmet.
Hey, listen, give me 30 seconds. I gotta pee. Hold on. Hold down the fort. If you look at you can't see the comments because people are commenting.
No, every time I go to the comments, it shuts the cam off.
Well, the cam can go off, and you could still. I don't know. Hold on. Just give me a second. I just gotta pee.
I don't even know how many's still there. I don't know how many guys are still there. It's getting kind of long though. We'll definitely have to end this here pretty quick. But wanted to show you the camera stuff. I do love this Sony Cam for me, especially with the mounts. I actually have a safety cable on this thing also. I'll show that to you real quick. What I did was I always put it in the case when I'm driving, and then I just basically put a lanyard on there. It's a nice place in the bottom of the case. These cameras all come with this case. When you buy it, I don't think you can buy it without it. But it's supposed to be able to go underwater and all that kind of stuff. But it's the 4K one. The next one I get, I doubt I'll get the 4K one. I don't use the 4K. It doesn't upload to 4K anyway. So I just got it at 1080p. Makes the editing quicker. you know, I don't do a lot of editing on the videos, but you know, some. You know, if I say something, I'll pinch the words out. I use KindMaster to do the editing. Tropical Tim hooked me up with that. Picked a nice catchy tune.
You know, so that's why she's probably complaining about that.
You're like way in the distance, buddy.
Nope,
sorry.
That's why she's probably complaining about that. You're like way in the distance, buddy. Nope, sorry. That's why she's probably complaining about that.
There you are.
These are called transducer issues. You know what a transducer is?
Yeah.
Needle.
I have a headset also that I can plug into the phone. I just didn't get it out. But that dang thing is it's a call center quality headset.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But it's getting good sound just through the phone here.
Oh, totally, man. Totally.
Once I get the laptop, I think I'm just going to totally do away with the phone. One of the things that happens with this with the phone when I do a video, the longest thing it takes now is to take it from the camera and put it to the phone so I can upload. That sometimes on my videos it takes half an hour.
Right.
You know, but what's really cool now, since we've got the PLDT in here, it loads within a minute or two. I've had videos that went up in seconds. You know, it might be a 15-minute video, and
Right.
10, 15 seconds, it's done. You know, it just keeps boom right up to 100 like that, and then it's ready to view. So that helped a lot. When I was doing the videos in Carmona, all through the data, to get it to upload to YouTube sometimes took hours. I mean, 2.5, 3 hours was normal.
Really?
Yeah.
I've dealt with like a couple months ago, like when I first started the YouTube channel, there were, you know, a couple places where I was at, like where I'm trying to upload it on YouTube, and it took like a stupid amount of time. But like lately, you know, if I make like an 8 or 10 minute video, it only takes like 5 minutes to upload tops, and then you process it. And while it's processing, you can go into YouTube Studio and then pick your own little thumbnail or whatever. I kind of dig on that, but you know, I take it seriously because it's personally gratifying, just like it is to you or anybody else who has their own YouTube channel. But you know, I hate to go back to the dogs, man. I'm really enjoying, like, I'm shooting like 5 to 6 minutes out of an 8-hour workday. You know, shoot here, stop. Oh, here's a picture of Foo dog here, stop. Oh, there's a big motherfucker over there. Oh, do that. Have fun with the dogs, engaging with the dogs. And I enjoy watching it on the playback, okay? That's me being narcissistic. I enjoy watching it on the playback because it's like, oh, is that really me engaging with all these babies? You know, when it comes down to it, they're all little babies. It doesn't matter if they're 2 years old or 13 years old. Their owners are paying top dollar to have them be there for us to take care of them with no room, well, minimal room for error, you know. And it's good to know, like when I clock out at the end of the day, I know that these dogs are, you know, like the worst part and the best part with this gig is we're in a 3 to 8 shift, you know, because the animals eat between like 6:30 and 7. That's around the time when the dogs that are boarding there, that are staying overnight, getting all that organized, you know. And then while, you know, after the dogs eat, you know, they all go outside, and these are separate rooms. Okay. So the dogs in my room, they'll go out, I'll put them out, and then I make all their different beds for them. And they're not crated. You know, there's crates with pads and blankets in each one. You know, you make their own little things look all super pretty, whatever. And, you know, for the most part, but they're not crated unless their owner wants them crated. If the owner wants them crated, then you got to lock them up. But for the most part, you know, and then they all come back in after they've done their business, after they've been fed, and you know, you leave them in the cage. It's a science that they have down. You know, you feed them inside the crates, then you leave them in the crate for a half hour, then you let them all outside so they can do their business if they have to, and then they all come back inside. And by that time, at the end of the night, everyone's all calmed down. They're ready for bed. You know, so you kind of slow things down. I put on stupid dog music, or you know, smooth jazz, or old big band music and stuff like that, you know, on the AM radio. Keep it nice and low. You kind of borderline tuck the puppies in, you know, make sure all these, you know, 15, 16 dogs, you know, everyone's cool. And then you kind of sneak out of the room after you turn off. What I do is I turn off the light and I'll stand at the door for like 5 minutes, make sure everybody's calm. And then I'll creak open the door and I'll leave. And when I leave and I go over to the break room and those dogs don't start barking, I know I've done a good job because everybody's asleep until tomorrow when they're going to wake up and be a bunch of shit weasels again. I love that. I love that stuff, Rick. And you guys, what kind of dog do you want to get?
Well,
a short hair dog.
It's got to be short haired, and
short hair big dog, short hair small dog. Because you got a small house.
It could be either way. I've had big dogs in a much smaller place. When I had my Great Dane, I basically was in like a boarding house.
Right.
Where I had one room. You shared the kitchen and the bathroom.
Right.
And
I'm going off camera, but I'm still going to be on mic.
The room, I believe I measured it when I put the carpet in there. I think it was 14 feet by 15.
Okay. All right.
It was an odd size. I couldn't get carpet to cover the whole thing.
Right.
And $75 a month. And it was your heat and electric was all paid for.
$75 a month. What year was that, bro?
This was back in the
80s,
mid to late 70s.
Oh, okay.
And I stayed there because it was cheap. I was working for a company delivering papers, that store flyers.
Right.
And, because I was big, I guess they put me in the bad neighborhood. They called it. A lot of guys wouldn't work over in this neighborhood, and I actually did pretty good at that company. Made a lot of money because I would. Most guys would just get one bag and deliver one flyer. I would put 4 bags on and deliver 4, and they had a truck that would drop it off on corners so you'd pick them up. And I actually was doing the work. Some guys would take them and throw them in the gutter or something like that. But, I actually did the work and did all right. But I didn't want to spend a lot of money on rent because, I don't want to be there. It's like this house. I didn't want to. We could have got a much bigger house. But right. I think if I was in the States, I'd be in a tiny home.
With better plumbing and I've watched you personally. Here we go with engagement. I've watched you personally, on your channel, from when you went from your old place to the new house there, because of all this, the coof, the China virus, you weren't able to be there when they were building this place. Had you been there, had you have been able to be there, things would probably be a lot different right now.
Oh, it wouldn't have happened this way.
No,
because there would have been different plumbing. Plus the way they ran the toilet here, they ran the toilet into a T. Yeah, and then they ran the drain on the top of the T and then out to the septic. If I'd have been here, that'd have been 2 separate pipes.
Right. See, I'm no plumber, but that makes sense to me. Absolutely. When you were saying, so you got the well, I'm not on camera, but you got the toilet, then you got the sink. Why have it go to a T? I mean, and also the quality of the pipes.
It's thin wall here. It's the orange thin wall. It's garbage. It gets brittle. Right now, our downstairs drain, the lower bathroom's flooded because the pipe collapsed, and when I plungered it, it's pulling up nothing but mud. Now the foreman from Demeterland is coming out Monday. They're going to fix it, but that means smashing up the concrete again.
Right.
which is a bummer. But they're going to take care of it. That's cool.
Well, as long as they take care of it,
Yeah. But see, what happens is they don't really have anybody who's a plumber. Okay. I was a plumber when I first started in the trades.
Right.
And basically, you do what you're told. There's no way I could ever plumb the house properly and done it right. And basically, that's what you got here. Now, I worked for a plumber for about 8 months. And what I did is I went down to where all the union halls were. And I saw, hey, the nice cars, the plumbers all got nice cars. So I went in and applied for that and got in.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was working the job, and they had me doing this big digging a trench for some piping. And the boss came out, you're going to have this done. And I said, no, this is some hard ground. It's not going to be done. Okay, I'm going to send you somebody. And they sent this guy who was about 45 years old. And I'm like, hey, Grandpa,
Shit, I feel old. I'm 47.
Yeah. and I was ribbing him. I was like, hey, Grandpa, you're a little old. Just change your trade. He says, no, I've been doing this for 25 years. And I said, well, who did you piss off that you're digging a hole?
Oh,
and
okay.
he came out and said, as long as you're a plumber, you're going to be digging a ditch. And what happened to me was I finished that job, and that was my last day.
Wow.
I said, no, I'm not gonna be digging ditches and digging through poop pipes and septic and sewage. And then I went down to the electrical union hall, and I put in for that. I had a brother-in-law that was he had been in the union for years, and there you just can't get in. You have to have somebody vouch for you.
Yeah, you got to know somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, and he did. So I got in, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. Hey, listen, we've been on here for 3 hours. I need to clean this place up before Karina gets home. Meaning,
all right, bud.
I got to tear down the studio. This was fun, brother. This was kind of it was a success, man. We had some good talk, and yeah, totally, man. It's
the first one. We'll get better as we go. We'll have to do another one down the line. I'll have to see if I could set up one time to get one going.
Well, once you get your laptop going, I mean, you could incorporate your, whatever camera you have to that.
Well, I might be able to do it through the phone, because if you look at Tropical Tim, he does all his through the phone.
Right.
So I might be able to set it up. The only problem I have is this phone is it's wonky. That's a highly technical term, but it's just been giving me headaches. I actually had a phone that was a Samsung before this that I never had a problem with, and I was all loving Samsung phones. I said, these things are great. I'm going to stick with this company. And then I sat on it. I never put them in my pocket, but I put it in my pocket, sat down, and I cracked the screen.
Yeah.
So we took it up to. You
can't do that with these phones unless you really abuse it. Yeah, you can't.
And I had no case for that one. When we took it to her friend, who's a top-notch phone guy here, and he said, "I'll throw you a screen on." And he put a new screen on, and when we went to pick it up, and it wasn't very expensive. When we went to pick it up, he says, this isn't a Samsung phone. I said, really? What? He goes, no. He had plugged it into his machine. He said, this is a C something or another, and it's a Chinese knockoff.
Oh.
And I bought it at Abbason's. So then when I bought this second one, this is a Samsung. We took it right to him to plug it in. He goes, yep, it's a Samsung, and it's been problematic since I got it.
Oh, really?
It doesn't work. It doesn't. Most of the time, I'm surprised it lasted this long. Most of the time, I have to shut it off to do anything. If I'm on the Wi-Fi and I load the stuff to KindMaster, the only way I can go to upload is I have to reboot the phone, because it will not connect. It just refuses to connect. A lot of times, if I go to my gallery where I keep all my pictures, it won't come up. I have to shut the phone off, and I can't just do restart. I have to shut it off, and then turn it back on and wait. And this thing takes forever to boot.
Oh, bummer.
So, and then the pictures come up. Then I can get the pictures to do my thumbnails and stuff. If I'm on this phone and I see pictures, I do a screenshot to them, The other phone, when I did the screenshot, I squeezed it and it took the picture immediately. This one, you do the screenshot, it could do it within a second or two, or it could take 10 seconds.
Right.
You know, it's I won't have another Samsung. I just won't.
I don't like China, meaning I don't buy Nike, but I'm kind of a sucker for the iPhone, man.
Yeah, I had an iPhone, a company phone that, you know, when I retired, it's your phone. You can just have it.
Right.
And that was a really fantastic phone.
It's a solid piece of equipment. The operating systems and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not willing to pay the price for it. Actually, here they're just, for me. You know, I was never one to go out and buy the big fancy truck. You know, I went in and was looking for a deal, and yeah, I got the little 6-cylinder motor maybe, and I did this and that. You know, I'm just not going to pay the premium. You know, like sometimes when I bought trucks, I had the one truck had the 4.3 6-cylinder in it. Well, it's cheaper to do everything. You got 2 less cylinders, less gas, less maintenance. So, you know, that's the route I've always went, you know, with my vehicles. And I'm just not going to pay the big price for an Apple. I'm just not.
No, that makes sense. Like the way that we do these phones here is like, okay, they're financed. So like right now, I mean, like tomorrow I can go down to T-Mobile and trade this phone in for an iPhone 13. However, I still owe a balance on the phone. You know,
yeah, you got to keep your contract up. Right. That's how I got my Nokia phone. You joined it for 2 years, they send you a phone.
Right.
And then every 2 years you can get another phone. If you re-up, you get a new phone. Mm-hmm. And these phones, I truly believe they have a fuse on them, because after so long, when they start hitting you with all these updates, they don't work unless you do the update. I keep saying I'm never going to do another update, but I have to. The phone quits working.
Yeah,
you know, and this thing's well over 2 years old. Yeah, it's well over 2 years old now.
Well, it's worked this far. It's worked what, 3 hours and 16 minutes into it. You know, I think it had one glitch, you know.
Yeah, if I try to go look at anything, it shuts the StreamYard off. So that's kind of sucks.
Well, I look forward to watching the playback on this. I'm going to sift through it in a couple hours here once it processes, you know. But yeah, I really got to get things going here. We've had a good. We got. You know what's weird though? Well, while we're wrapping things up, we got 6 people. My phone says top chat 6 people, but there's only 2 that are engaging. So perhaps we have 4 in the background that are just lurking. Maybe those are the people that put me on the blacklist because of my last YouTube friggin' failed live stream.
All right, Bob.
All right. Love you, buddy.
Okay?
Yeah. All right. We'll talk on the Telegram real soon.
Okay. See you.
Okay, brother. Bye. All right. Let's end this.
No.